Welcome, everybody, to episode 133 of the Bombshell podcast. I'm your host, dkdynamite, with our lovely co-host, Fajardi, and a very special guest today, Codenamepizza. How you doing today, my friend?
Hey, I'm good, dude. How are you?
Solid, man. Solid. Appreciate you for being here. I know you just got back in town like a few days ago, right?
Yeah. We took a trip to Florida, me and my wife, to see Sum 41, and Mr. Alec JD came along.
Hey.
And it was a great trip, but we got stuck there for a few extra days because of the hurricane. So
Right. Happy to hear that you guys made it out okay, man. That's crazy that you guys just got there, and then all of a sudden you probably got the warnings on your phone and everything. It's terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. But we're back safe, and I'm ready for the podcast.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Mr. Fajardi, how you doing, man?
Oh, yeah. We were talking about this before, how, he's kind of been disconnected the past 2 weeks. And I'm like, he didn't really miss much, nothing really going on.
Right.
Just some MW3 stuff, event stuff, that sort of stuff. But zombies, nothing really too much of substance to talk about. And thankfully, maybe some stuff's going to happen next week. Because Treyarch did just announce that there is going to be some new info coming next week, which is awesome. Finally get to sink our teeth in something before launch. But other than that, keeping busy. Trying to anyway, the best of my ability, and it should be a great episode. For sure. Really appreciate that. And then, Mr. Pizza, you mind if I call you Pizza or Ben or whichever you prefer?
Whatever you want. It's all
right.
good.
Yeah. We met. Oh my God! I think it was the classified Easter egg ending.
Yeah.
That was Black Ops 4, right? That was a long time ago. That's when as we first chatted. Oh my God, that was a fun day. But
long ago.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome catching up at was it COD Next last year for MW3. Definitely a blast, man. But you were at the Terminus event for Black Ops 6 not that long ago. How was that, man? If you want to go over that real quick.
It was incredible. Yeah, it was something I think we needed. There was a lot of us there that hadn't seen each other for a while, and it was great. Especially, I really thrive in like the behind the scenes Treyarch stuff, and it's just always good giving feedback. A lot of people, there's always criticism inside the community, like, hey, why do these guys get to play it early? But realistically, we're playing it early to kind of test drive it and give our feedback and hopefully make the game better on launch for everyone that, likes the game. So
for sure.
Yeah, it was a great trip, though, and I had a lot of fun. It was good.
Yeah, no, it was a relatively smaller event, too, and they haven't done a zombies-focused event since, what was it? I mean, technically, MW3 last year, right before Next.
Yeah, I guess before that.
Yeah.
I guess before that, Ancient Evil. Like, that was the last time we were at Treyarch. Yeah, dude.
Holy crap. I thought Ancient Evil... Okay, no, I mean, so you guys were there, and then they also sent gameplay to you to upload later. I remember everyone having that same footage to go and upload, I think, for Ancient Evil, if I remember correctly.
I don't even remember. It was so long ago. I think I might have filmed my own, maybe. I don't know.
Right. No, that's awesome, dude. No, it's cool to see, zombies get back into the spotlight a bit, especially for those events, because Cold War didn't have any. I know there was those creator calls and whatnot, but great to see zombie creators getting more love, for sure. But when it comes to Black Ops 6, right? Do you have like a specific content plan for the launch window, like your streams, videos? Like, what are you gonna be tackling first, Terminus or Liberty?
It's crazy, man. Like, the launch window is nuts. The only thing that I can get my head around is the fact that we've done it before with 4 maps, so I'll be fine with 2. But there's still going to be so much to do. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm needing to hire editors, and it is going to be wild, for that first official week. But see, I was saying before that I'm building a brand new office, and it'll be finished in a couple of weeks, and I'm moving in there for launch, and And then I'll be focusing more on videos every day, and then live streaming in the evening times instead of the daytimes for a couple of
Ooh.
hours every day.
Yeah.
So switching it up completely, man. I'm super excited to like change my schedule after like 4 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's incredible, man. Happy rooting for you, man, for sure. It's definitely been some time since you were doing, the myth busting Mondays content and whatnot.
Wait, man.
Yeah, got to bring that back, dude. We got Gobblegums back, so you gotta get back into the swing with that.
That's it, man. Like I've had some big conversations with Kevin Drew about what I need returning, and I guess we're gonna speak about that in a little bit, right? But,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. No, it was awesome talking to Kevin Drew for a little bit at Next recently. I actually presented him with something that hasn't been announced yet, but Detonated has 2 really big features coming to the site in the coming weeks with the launch of BO6. One of them is very zombies focused, and without giving away too much, it's something pretty important for the community. So it was awesome kind of hearing his thoughts on it and the direction they're taking the story this year, because it's going to be very spicy, I think, on par with what we loved about BO3, BO4. Couldn't be more thrilled about that. But as far as Gobblegums go, I'm sure you asked him about Killing Time, and what are some others you were asking him about? You kind of have to ask him that one, right?
Yeah, I definitely asked him about Killing Time. I was like beating around the bush about it, and I was saying like, hey, I've got to ask you something. Like I pulled him to one side and like wanted to just be like, look, I need a quiet word. Because we're in this like big group of creators talking to all the devs, and then I went for a quiet word and I was like, look, I just need to talk to you about something. And then Noah butted in and he was like, he just wants to ask about Killing Time, okay? And then he was like, look, it's not in the game, dude, not on launch. I was like, why? And he asked me what I liked about it so much. I was like, literally, it just stops time. That's it.
Yeah.
And he responded with, okay, do you need everything to stop, or are you okay with like the birds in the sky still flying around? And I said that's fine, I can deal with that.
That's funny.
And he said potentially future DLC, and the guy who originally coded Killing Time really wants to refuse to do it because it's so much work. But, there's potential that it's gonna come. We'll see.
That's funny. Yeah, because they already announced shopping free as a post-launch Gobblegum. But as far as like the list right now goes, were you able to see the Gobblegum menu when you were at the Terminus event, or was that not?
No. So all of our PlayStation, I think we're playing on PS5. They're all set to the same Gobblegum set, so we just have 5 available that we could all play with, and we're all set to the exact same field upgrade. And they're like, don't go through the menus, but I sneakily changed my field upgrade to the new one. I just wanted to try it out.
Wow.
But I couldn't get onto the Gobblegum menus to change anything. But we had like we had stock option and temporal gift, and I think maybe double points. But nothing crazy. Definitely nothing crazy.
Sounds just like the list from COD Next. I know it was Arsenal Accelerator. We also had Temporal Gift. What else do we have? Which you probably remember. I'm thinking about all the Gobblegums we had.
The Gobblegums, yeah.
You have like Shield Up. Or...
Yeah, Shields Up, which
Shields
was a little bit different. Yeah, Shields Up was there. Pretty basic type Gobblegums, right? But something that I actually haven't seen much discussion about, and maybe you brought it up in a video and I missed it, but the fact that they're all consumables now, that's a pretty big change. There's no classic set where it's like, okay, here's a free set that you can just infinitely use. They're all consumables now, so you'll have a limited stock of every single gum, to my understanding. I think that's a pretty wild change, considering some of them that were classics and free. Oh, Anywhere But Here was one at Next as well. That now is a consumable. That's not free anymore. I think that's interesting.
Well, everything's now earned officially on launch anyway. I guess everything's earned via just in-game playing the game, and you'll unlock it just by flipping around. So, I think it's a good move. And I the only thing that everyone was really up in arms about originally was about that it all has to be online because of this. But they kind of saved the day with the whole save and quit feature, and that's why it has to be online.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, now and again I do weirdly play zombies offline when I'm like on flights and stuff.
That's cool.
It'll be strange. Yeah, being Gord Crovey 40,000 feet in the air. That's kind of fun.
You gotta record that somehow. Get someone next to you to like record on like an iPhone of you just like beating an Easter egg. That's hilarious. Somebody did that. I think it was Sally as a dog or some other Warzone creator. Got like I don't know how they did this. They must have had some hotspot. I don't know what happened, but they got a battle royale win on the plane. I'm like, how the hell is that possible? But yeah,
pretty cool.
So, that's awesome. So you have it on like what, the portable console suitcase
dude,
thing?
This is like back in the day. Like I used to go to when we used to go to Call of Duty events in LA just to film like Black Ops 4 or whatever, or even earlier, like with IW, I'd fly out and I'd be sat next to Mr. Dalek JD, and I'd bring out just a PS4 and a portable screen that powers off USB, and it plugs into the seat. Dude, it's crazy. And I was just playing the PlayStation just on the plane. Yeah,
that's hilarious. Yeah, no, especially for those longer flights, because you guys are in the UK, and I'm like, I give you guys props for sitting that long for a flight like that. Like my longest flight was probably like 5-6 hours, but you guys were talking about what, 9 to 12? Is that the average?
It's 11 hours. Yeah, we've all grown up so much. Like we used to get on planes wanting to play games, and now we just get on planes and just instantly go to sleep. Yeah, and just try and sleep the whole 11 hours.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, it's funny, man. We were actually all stoked that COD Next this past year was in DC, because for most of us on the East Coast, it was like an hour or two compared to the 4, 5, 6 to get to the West Coast, California. So it was definitely a change of pace. Hopefully they do more events like that. I don't know if that would be closer to you though.
It would be slightly,
slightly, right? Slightly, yeah. Something along those lines. But in regards to first, I guess, Gobblegums and the COD Next build, what was your reception to the gameplay that got showcased from the map? Were you a bit disappointed with Liberty Falls, or especially because you play Terminus as well? Like I'm curious on your stance on both maps now that there's gameplay of both.
I think that's it. I think because we couldn't record our own Terminus footage, everyone was just having to post the same stuff. So when everyone asked about that, I was like, look, trust me, it's a really good map. It's really fun, because everyone was just, focusing on the Liberty Falls kind of gameplay and saying, well, you've been lying about Terminus, because clearly it's not good. And it is really good. I think Liberty Falls, I think what we've seen is very bare bones. I've explained this in a few videos before, that there are areas of the map on Terminus that we could not access. Like I even though we get told before events all Easter eggs are locked, do you really think I'm gonna sit there for an hour and not try stuff? Like I'm gonna try and do stuff. So I'm searching for the whole time, and like in the build that we played, I said to all the devs afterwards, I was like, "Oh, you accidentally left the song Easter egg inside of there," and they were like, "Oh, no, we forgot." So
wow, hey, first dibs on that guide, man. There you go.
There you go.
Easy short, baby.
There was an area inside of the map that was inside of the shipwreck that you swim up to it. There's like a crack in the bottom of the ship, and you swim up to it and climb up these ladders. And there's like a hatch at the top, but the ladders are usable, but the hatch wasn't able to lift. So there's fully a room inside of the boat that we couldn't access, and that's what I'm thinking is what we got with Liberty Falls' gameplay is that there are areas of the map that's completely off, and they're just not even talking about them until we've got the map itself. I also think Liberty Falls is going to be fully based around Easter egg. I know that's not fair for a lot of people that don't do Easter eggs, but I think to experience the map, you will have to do the quest, and it will change throughout the Easter egg. You'll see the Dark Ether start pulling into the map more and kind of taking over the entire map.
Right.
That's my envision of it anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and obviously after COD Next, people were generally, before COD Next, people were generally happy with the state of zombies, the Cell Terminus, and everything was fine and dandy. Liberty Falls comes around, COD Next comes around, and then the whole community just implodes upon itself. And I want to hear your thoughts about your kind of interpretation of that from the community standpoint, from seeing Liberty Falls and sort of like almost pretty much dogging on it.
Was it just the HUD? Was it just the HUD by itself, or?
Man, I am praying for like legacy HUDs. Like it would be insane if you booted up the menu and like it was like Black Ops 3, like a real Black Ops 3, or like a real Black Ops 2, or even Black Ops 4, and it changes, or you can do map specific and have like a Mob of the Dead HUD or an Origins HUD. It'd blow my mind, man. Like that would be just perfect. But in terms of like feedback from my community on Liberty Falls, I think a lot of people that watch me have the same mentality as me, and they're just like, okay, this isn't the full thing. Like we know that we're sensible enough to understand that. But I think in terms of the gameplay itself, what we saw, it was dreary. It was a little bit lackluster. And yeah, one thing we said when we were playing Terminus is that we thought it was too ezy, and they were like, "Oh, put the rage inducer on because with time's running out." And I was playing with Chopper, and we're like, "Okay, time's running out. Let's put it on." We're around 21, and we beat 21, beat 22, got to 23, and they were like, "Okay, it's time to kind of like wind it down now." That was with the rage inducer on, and then there was like a no. So we did give feedback and said, "Look, it needs to be It needs to be a little bit more difficult, a little bit more challenging. And they said, don't worry, the higher you go in the rounds, it's like one of the hardest round of hundreds, because they didn't explain what it was, but they basically said there's certain things inside of the map that makes it more difficult, I guess. But then in terms of Liberty Falls, there was like a non-zombies player that made it to like round 50 or something, wasn't there?
That's true.
Duke Dennis.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. I don't know who he is, by the way. I'm sorry. Who is he?
He's I think he's part of AMP, like Kai Cenat and all them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
that's
yeah,
pretty, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he was at Next, and he was just like, screw it, I'm just gonna keep playing. I think there was some Activision employees behind him being like, oh, like wrap it up. He's like, let me get the 50 first. And he got the 50 and he ended it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that blew my mind a little bit.
For sure.
But to continue that, I think the hype about Liberty Falls was so massive because of the cutscene we got a week before it. Like before the gameplay.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like the best cutscene I think we might have ever had.
Since Blood of the Dead, I'd say.
Yeah, no, easily. That Blood of the Dead outro might be the last best cutscene before that.
Yeah.
And it's not just because of Rick Toffen, dude. It was badass. It was great.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, that got me incredibly hyped. And then it's just weird. But it also shows that 100% we've not seen the entire map. Like, why did everyone play that map? There was like 250 people that played it. No one got the Wonder Waff, but it's in the cutscene. Like, there's just so many things that makes me think, okay, there's way more than this. I think there's a full like laboratory section and like stuff like that. I don't know. I would just assume there's more.
I would assume too. I was actually going to bring that up to your point earlier about other areas that weren't accessible. Like there's a whole cutscene that shows us a mansion or his lab, wherever that space was. Like it reminds me, and hopefully it's not the same case as like Alpha Omega, because Alpha Omega really didn't have an intro cutscene. It was kind of just a recap of Ether till that point. There was no Nuketown in that intro cutscene. So I'm like, is Liberty Falls pulling an angle like that where it's like, hey, here's an intro that's like narratively here in West Virginia, but we're not going to show you the playable space in the actual cutscene. I wonder if that's what they did, but with that, I could totally see, like you mentioned, a dark ether kind of filter over the whole map during the Easter egg, or you just visit Richtoffen's lab and maybe you can get the Wonder Waff later in the Easter egg. I wasn't lucky enough to get the jet gun during my limited playtime. I kept spinning the box, I couldn't get it, but I was like, hey, you know what? I'm sure there'll be a quest or something to get it during the launch window. But you also mentioned kind of in regards to the reception to both of these maps. I do think it's kind of how Kevin True described it in the COD pod. One of them is for sure very casual focused. And like you said, the Easter egg will kind of be the highlight of the map. But if you're just looking to play zombies, that's probably just the space to grind your camos, level up your weapons. It's a pretty basic zombie map compared to Terminus. But it's like I've been comparing Terminus to like Shadows of Evil, Blood of the Dead, whereas Liberty seems like a D Machine, not really like the giant, like a bonus map, but more in line with D Machine, I'd say, in terms of content and scale, which isn't a bad thing either. But I think people really have that expectation that both maps are going to be fully, decked out with quests and all this content because of the 4-year gap since Cold War. If I had to put it that way.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. It's kind of funny that you say that because D Machine's like my favorite Cold War map. And it's really odd because it is very bare bones compared to the rest, but I love it. I think it's a really great re-envisioning of Nacht. Yeah, I really like it. But no, I agree with you 100%. I think it is the bare bones map, and it's going to be the map that I do the camo grinding on, most likely.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, I do think there's more. 100%. It'd be weird if there wasn't. And if there's not, then, next DLC is, in December. So it's not too much of a wait. But it would be strange if it's only what we get seen or what we've been shown.
Yeah. That's also interesting. A lot of content creators, because there's not much to talk about. They've just kind of gravitated toward the DLC one thing. I know DK has made some videos on it recently. But, another map before the end of the year in Season 1, that's crazy. The last time we saw that was, I believe, obviously we had a map in Season 1 map in Cold War Firebase Z, but that wasn't until January, I believe.
I think it might have even been February,
Yeah,
it was late.
Yeah, it was late. It was definitely into the new year. I think the last time we saw an actual map was probably BO4 with Dead of the Night.
Yeah. So, luckily, this one's been announced,
All right.
They dropped that on us, dude. It was mental.
Yeah.
That's almost it's almost not a bad thing. to like not market it, but at the same time, it's like 'cause I love the element of surprise all the time. But at the same time, it's like, come on, you gotta give us a trailer, some build up, some hype on the roadmap. You know what I mean? But continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, yeah. See, I was just the point was that season one, the launch is going to be massive, and then obviously you have season one Warzone integration, new zombies map, new zombies content. I think a lot of people are going to be eating really good for zombies, especially in the launch window, 100%. But past DLC 1, how do you think Black Ops 6 can sort of fix the drought periods between maps throughout the 6 seasons, if there is 6 seasons? I'm just assuming, even though there should be. But
I think there will be. Yeah, I had a conversation with the devs about this as well. It's another thing that I love having conversations with devs, and I don't necessarily always tell the story to everyone. Like there's still some stuff I spoke to Jason Blundell about in my interview all the way back in Chronicles that I cut out and I've just never shared because it's good to keep it personal to me. But yeah, I think I had a conversation with the devs and I said to them, for this kind of like drought window, wouldn't it be nice instead of having the BO4 effect where we get thrown everything day one and everything's solved in 2 weeks? Wouldn't it be nice to just, hold back on some side eggs and just add a side egg in each week and go, okay, hunt time, go and get it and you get a new camo if you find it. Or like, stuff like that. Just like new side Easter eggs placed in every map. Let's say Terminus launching with 20 side Easter eggs. Wouldn't it be great just to have like 5 on launch and then 1 each week for 15 weeks, like guaranteed? I think that would be a great way to do it.
That would be really insane. And thinking about how, especially with MWZ, the I think it was the Mark of the Survivor camo added with the unstable rifts. Like that was an amazing reward, and probably one of the best zombie rewards we've ever seen, in the form of an animated camo. And I think Treyarch needs to answer with something like that, because obviously we have the Easter egg rewards coming, but that's I've never heard that before. The side Easter egg things is sort of periodically adding them throughout droughts. I think it's a good solution. I think that can
like one thing we can jump back to is World War II, and no one talks about it, but World War II was so ahead of its time in so many different ways. Like I think the one thing most people talk about is how the original like hardcore quest, so you got like 2 Easter eggs, and that was brilliant. It's the way that basically Treyarch have kind of done their own thing here with guided mode, and it's kind of similar to that. But World War II was implementing side Easter eggs all the way through the game's life cycle. It was a shame that none of us really covered it massively, just because there wasn't much viewership there, and therefore, it's hard to maintain making content for something when you genuinely aren't getting revenue in, and it's your job at the end of the day.
Right.
So they were adding in like each few weeks, they were adding in, or months even, like new camos that you could go and do a side quest on each map and you'd get a camo for it. They'd do it like based around like I think one was for St. Patrick's Day, and you had to go and like find leprechauns around the map or something.
I remember that one.
Camo. Yeah, dude, they were great. They were so ahead of the time with so much stuff, and it'd be great to see stuff like that inside of Black Ops 6. And another thing that I'm really excited for Black Ops 6 is the fact that normal Easter egg rewards doing the main quest will give you Wonder Weapon skins, and every Wonder Weapon skin is fully based off that map. So I'm assuming we beat Terminus and we get this Wonder Weapon skin of all vines all over the Raven or whatever. Or like you beat Terminus, I have no idea. It'd just be like not Terminus, sorry, Liberty Falls. No idea what Liberty Falls would be.
Like a retro arcade sort of.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. But like I'm so hyped about that. Like Wonder Weapon skins will be super dope. Just finding new ways to reward the player that we've never seen before just encourages more people to play the game over and over and over again. It adds that replayability, and I think that's the factor with zombies to keep zombies alive for longer, is just having replayability.
100%. Yeah, I'm thinking about like the blood. What was it called? The spork knife from Blood of the Dead, which is a side Easter egg that I believe was probably just broken at launch. That's why we had to wait till February, I believe, to actually complete that quest. But that was an example of something insane. That was a massive reward that had been added months after BO4 had dropped. So that was just a cool example of wouldn't mind a side Easter egg with a pretty valuable reward coming out a couple of months after launch. But to your point about camos, I love looking back at older Call of Duty titles and being like, wow, that game was ahead of its time years before the fans were asking for the system to come back. World War II did a great deal, I think, for the zombies community. But I could also remember the operator system, right? There was a set crew, and then you could just choose to not play as them. I think that's brilliant. If you get the best of both worlds, you want to play as that operator you just bought or your battle pass character, feel free, but there's still a set crew by default if you want to get some narrative. I think that's a great way to balance everything for everybody.
Yeah, agreed.
Mhm.
Like the operating system once again way ahead of its time. It's hopefully we get like Black Ops 6. I know that we get a set crew. I'm still is it definitely not set crew for Liberty Falls? Like 100% it's just
Correct.
operators.
I
Okay.
believe that's the case, unless they surprise
They've
us.
been they've
Yeah.
been like in the blog post, I believe it said assumed to be a part of Janet, like Project Janus operatives or something like that. So
See,
like,
I'd be down for that. You know, like with Nuketown Zombies on BO2, you were playing as the CIA. Like that
mhm,
would be so dope. Like
Right.
mhm.
Right.
you know, you're literally playing as Richtofen's agents. That's what it
Yeah.
should be. And they
Yeah.
could have quote lines, and you'll hear Richtofen in your ear. Like that would be mint. But if you want to play as your operator, feel free. Like, but
Mhm.
that would be so cool. And then you would hear like inside information between them, like I don't know, talking about Richtofen because they actually know him. You
hmm
know?
Mhm.
Right. A bit of a hot take
Mhm.
is that I think Liberty Falls should have been a celebrity map. I think we should have saw just a one-off crew, obviously some celebrities, and then Rick Toffin could have used them for something on Liberty Falls, then he abandons them or something after the map's Easter eggs over. But we got to see the return of that at some point, right? Dead of the Night was the last map that
Celebrity,
did
yeah.
that. Yeah, it's like you get a celebrity crew. And then if you want to buy them as bundles to use them in MP and Warzone, feel free, but they're free in zombies. That would be brilliant. But although I think now we're kind of in a different era where it's like, hey, there's a new celebrity being added every couple weeks in a Warzone. You want to use them in zombies, feel
Yeah,
free.
that
We're
you can almost sort of like Frankenstein your own
yeah.
celebrity crew together now, and just be like, you know what, Snoop Dogg, Nicki Minaj, put them all in there, and you can
Homelander.
play. Yeah, you can make your own celebrity crew, but that would be cool to have like an actual like in lore celebrity crew. Like for example, Dead of the Night, like they're not actors, or like they're playing characters, but they just so happen to look like celebrities. Like that, I think that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Oh,
And I think the best one they ever did was Call of the Dead. Like I love Shadows of Evil, and like by far Nero's my favorite character. Like I love Jeff Goldblum.
oh
But
yeah.
I think with BO1, them playing their actual selves, like it is Sarah Michelle Gellar, and
Correct.
you know I just think that's so cool. And we've only seen it once. Like I want to see that again.
Right.
Yeah, even going all the way into Revelations, I think there was a Revelations radio where it actually like sort of like almost like finished the story of Call of the Dead,
Yeah.
where like it kind of said like what happened to them after. I think it might have been a Sarah Michelle Gellar radio.
I think so. Yeah. I think
I don't know
so.
why that that name calls out to me when remembering this, but I think there was some sort of radio. If someone can fact check me there, that'd be awesome. But I think there was some radio that just like, yeah, those characters did mean something a lot to the story. I think it's really
Oh yeah.
it's really cool.
For sure. No, a lot of potential with seeing stuff like that again in the future. But earlier we were kind of talking about for a second like the 4-year gap since Cold War. And I don't know if you saw this, Pizza, but the other day I know Fajardi tweeted out on Detonated a bit of a graphic kind of detailing what Treyarch has worked on since Cold War came out. And it's actually quite a number of projects. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but what are your thoughts on the whole sentiment around, 4-year development cycle, when really it's not essentially 4 years of development, because Treyarch has been working on a variety of other things since Cold War came out, let alone the 6 seasons for that game during COVID.
Yeah. Look, I don't want to like jump the gun here, but I did see a tweet, by the way. Good tweet.
Yeah,
But
thank you.
yeah, I'm under the impression, and I might be wrong. I am very much under the impression that these are like sub-hired people that did those, and like the
Mm.
main tryout people have been working on BO6 for 4 years. That's my understanding. I don't know if I'm right or
I
wrong
hope that's
there.
the case. Yeah.
But yeah, but like on our t-shirts that we got at Terminus, it did have the stuff that they apparently worked on the back. So I might be wrong there as well.
Mhm.
You know, they are saying that they did Operation Deadbolt, and they did and the Vanguard maps as well.
They're
on
on
there, I
fine.
think.
Shino number reborn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
we'll see. But
Well-
in my head, I've had a conversation somewhere. I might be wrong. I'm so tired nowadays with kids. You just forget everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, in my head, I have had a conversation where they're like, we put a lot of like 4 years into this. So yeah, but I could be wrong.
Right. Yeah. I remember having
I
I remember having a
go
convo
on.
pretty similarly at the Treyarch event in June when we played multiplayer. And I remember we had a funny convo with somebody, and we were talking about the 4-year dev cycle. And he's like, yeah, 4 years since Cold War, but don't forget, guys, we did work on XYZ. I'm like, yeah. So it was just funny having that convo, kind of looking at, quotes, like I'll call them quotes you see around the internet about Call of Duty, and you bring them to a dev and they're like, huh? Like the Black Ops 6 the DLC controversy. That was my favorite one, I think, for a couple of weeks. Seeing that everywhere, I'm like, come on, man. So behind the scenes too, trust me, they do see these quotes. They laugh at some of them, and they will answer to the best of their ability if they're allowed to, when we're at events like that. It's always hilarious. But with Black Ops 6 now, it's been described as a hybrid, essentially, between BO3 and Cold War. From your time playing Terminus and from the gameplay you saw at Liberty, how confident are you in that statement about how the foundation of Black Ops 6 Zombies is going to work?
I think my understanding's different, and I'll explain this in a second. From what I've seen on community reaction to Liberty Falls, they're basically saying, the only percentage of that 50-50 is gobblegums. So I think the way that community is seeing it is that it's not at all. From my personal play, I think it's like 65-70% Cold War and 30-35% BO3. That's how I felt while I was playing. Another thing from that is that I don't know how you felt when you loaded up Liberty Falls, but when I loaded up Terminus, the moment I started playing, I was like, this is really heavy. Like, it feels like I'm heavy when I'm walking, but in the beta, it didn't. So I don't know if they've changed it since I played, because it was like 2 months before the beta that I played that. When you played Liberty Falls, did it feel the same as the beta, like movement, or did it feel heavy?
Honestly, if it felt very close to the beta, maybe a tad heavier, not too crazy, but definitely similar.
They could have changed it.
Yeah. They might have changed it.
But there are BO3 aspects in that. I think a lot of Easter eggs and side Easter eggs would be more Black Ops 3-ish. We do have gobblegums, but that's not the only Black Ops 3 thing there. But it is massive. Like, the innovation in gobblegums too, the fact that you can have 3 active at any one time, like that you can stack them, and there's going to be like 25 plus on launch. So, there's so many different combinations and stuff. And then you put that with the augment system where you're going to have 100 plus on launch. And dude, you can do some mental stuff, like so many different combinations of things you can be running at any one time. That they've definitely, it's more like Black Ops 3.5 really. Like they've done a really good job, and like I've not played Liberty Falls, but I'm excited to jump back into it again. And
the augments weren't usable at your play session, right? You didn't get to see any of those. The augments.
I don't think so. No, they fully. They might have been some on, but they were just like we couldn't change them or anything. But they explained so many amazing ones to us, and they do sound really, really fun. Absolutely. And stuff like, we know we're getting Newtonian negation as a gobblegum, but then there's also an augment that changes one of your field upgrades to where the zombies then fall from the sky. But I'm like, okay, well, if we've got Newtonian negation on, they fall from the sky and then just fly back up again. Like,
that's a
I'm
myth
so
bust.
excited. Dude, I know. I'm just excited to jump in the game and just mess up the entire game. It's going to be great.
And Fajardi, I didn't mean to.
I was back on the gobblegum topic. Also, the ability to be able to change the gobblegums at any point, through the menus, is also a big thing. Because I remember back when you're playing Zetsubo, back in Black Ops 3, like, I forgot anywhere but here, and I guess I can't do the Easter egg now until that one Easter egg was found I believe there's an Easter egg found to get a free anywhere but here.
Was it canceled? I thought it was a scrap one. I don't remember.
I remember hearing something about
that was
it.
Never. That was never been a thing. It might have been cancelled, but
you're just screwed.
You forget the gobblegum and you're screwed. But now it's like, okay, I forget a gobblegum, I can just put it on. And...
Do you want to know something crazy? I'll give you a little crazy thing.
Ooh.
Let's hear it.
There's a team. I'm not going to tell you how they do it because I don't know if they've released it yet. But there's people that know how to now do that Easter egg without anywhere but here.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah.
Live Bombshell. Hell yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's crazy. That's crazy. and no cheats required. They just found a legitimate way to do it.
Well, it's no mods, but I'm not saying no cheats.
Yeah, got it. Got it. Okay. Yeah. That's wild. All right. Interesting. Yeah, because I'd be curious to see like if there's a Easter egg step in BO6, like, hey, you got to use anywhere but here, but it's a consumable, so if you don't have it, you're just kind of shot out of luck. You got to wait for your teammate to get it. There's no way. But no, that's something. I remember the round 50 Godzilla monster in the distance too. That was something cool. Stuff like that, man. Like that. That's why I bring this up every now and again. Like the idea of the classified high round Easter egg. For, something there for high rounders. Obviously, the circumstances at the time were rough. Everyone was crashing, so we are just like glitching custom mutations to figure stuff out. But wouldn't mind seeing something like that again in the future, like something for high rounders at a around 50 or around 100, even higher. Like that. That would be cool to see again if the game works. Right, the game has to work first. That's the big thing.
I think someone asked. I think someone did ask in our session. I think they said, "Hey, classified, 150 cutscene will we be seeing something like that return for high round players and not just Easter egg players?" And I think they just gave a pretty generic response. Like, we'll see. It's too early to say right now.
I love those responses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're great. But I hope so. It brings more of the community together. Like it's not just Easter egg players that want to see cutscenes. I'm sure. I think it's everyone that wants to be involved with all of this stuff. So yeah, I'm more than happy to see that return as well.
I'm just really excited first about augments because that's a system that we've gotten no gameplay of. It's a system that's been described, which I think is really going to fundamentally change zombies content on the internet. It's going to change how people play, depending on combinations they use. We've seen very little of it, and I also think it's cool how the progression system that has already been unveiled for the most part for BO6 does confirm there are gobblegums, and I believe, is it perks or field upgrades, also locked in that level 1 to 55 grind. So that's going to fundamentally change people's prestige grind if they play zombies, what they're going to permanently bring from prestige to prestige. Like if they're a zombies player, they're going to bring like whatever, the field upgrade or a certain gobblegum they really like. That's a really important detail that not many folks have discussed either. In terms of progression, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Like augments are gonna change the way everyone plays zombies, and we had this discussion at Treyarch where we said, with the guided mode, that will severely like reduce our views after the guided mode releases in terms of Easter egg guides. But they were like, we help you, you help us. Like you put out the guides first, and then we put out the guides, and then people will then watch your guides for the next DLC. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's fine. But I think augments are gonna become the new like guides on YouTube, where everyone's like every other day, it's like, holy crap, I found this insane
broken meta.
So, basically, yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna be focusing on a lot. Just like you see it in so many other different types of video games, in like FIFA and like even in Warzone and stuff like that, like a constant meta change. And I think we're going to see that with zombies this year massively, especially if they add new augments. And I think they already have said this throughout the whole DLC season, along with new perks, along with new gobblegums, like just all the variety of stuff. The meta in zombies is going to change so much throughout the season. So that's what I'm mainly going to be focusing on, I think. Well, not mainly, but I will be doing a lot on that. In terms of meta, though, as well, I don't know what you played with, but we thought very early on that the meta again will be shotguns. I don't know what you thought.
I think I could see that. I could definitely see that. I kind of messed around with this everything when I was playing Liberty, but no, I did spawn in with that Mastercraft from the Vault Edition. I spawned in with that, and it was viable. It was good. Upgrading it was pleasant, but yeah, that's gonna be crazy. You mentioned content, and I'm thinking I actually really haven't thought enough about that too when it comes to like main quest guides. I think even side Easter eggs will probably have more long-term energy and momentum around it, right? Like in terms of the video. But when it comes to the main quest, there are, I think was it one or a couple rewards you'll get by doing the Easter egg before guided mode. So that definitely will be a big boost early on. In terms of the quest.
Calling card.
Is it a calling?
Okay. It's a calling card, yeah.
Interesting. How do you think they'll like offer those Wonder Weapon skins, right? Because like, would you be able to equip them in the menus? Like that's another thing too that we haven't really thought about. How do we put on a Wonder Weapon skin after you've beaten an Easter egg? Like what menu would maybe in the weapon kit system? Maybe.
That's what I was.
I think so. I think they'll just be there in the weapon kits. Yeah. That's the way I envision it anyway. But yeah. In terms of Easter egg rewards, though, like you said, we get a calling card for beating it before guided. And then when we were talking to them, they were saying how we would then get rewards for beating the main quest, like we said, the Wonder Weapon skin. But then they said we'll also get rewards for beating the guided quest. And I said, I don't want to then beat the guided quest after the main quest just to get the extra thing because I'm a 100% guy. I would much prefer just guided mode get some of the things from normal. And they took that feedback good, because I don't want to go and play guided mode after I've just beaten the Easter egg 40 times in 2 weeks, you know? Just to get the extra stuff. So yeah, I assume they're gonna take my advice with that.
That's funny.
Anyway.
It makes you think though with the guided mode that, because right away I don't know why I think of Diarize. I think it's because that quest has always been a mess to me when it comes to like, oh, play as these two characters, the ballistic knife, that, you know what stuff I'm talking about, I'm sure. But it makes me think how the guided mode's going to confirm without a doubt exactly how the studio wants you to do certain steps. And that's interesting because we've never really seen communication from Treyarch, like, this is exactly how you got to do this step. Obviously, people have their methods and their strategies, speeder on this, speeder on that. But for a step, let's say like what we got maybe with the mimic step in Firebase with the audio tapes, or the Diarize ballistic knife step on, I think it was the Max's side or the Richtofen side. I can't remember which side it was, but it'd be cool to have clarification on certain steps. But I get what you mean too. If you're somebody that then beats the Easter egg 40 times in a span of like 2-3 weeks, I'm just worried about, and I'm sure you could agree, I'm worried about the leaks when it comes to a guided mode. I'm praying it's like in a separate hotfix patch, something with reloaded, nowhere near the launch of a map, because that's terrifying too. If somebody force loads their way into guided mode and just gets everything done instantly, like that's scary.
Or not even force loading, you're just finding the steps in the files, just flat out, just the written steps of it. That's also a big scare for that sort of thing, because then it's like the whole quest is kind of ruined. That kind of sucks. But
Revive put Blood of the Dead Morse code step in chat. That's another step that I think, I don't know, maybe Pizza, did you make a video about it? There is a way to see the Morse code out by the water, I think, right? Something along those lines.
Yeah. If you go like look out into the distance, you can see like a beacon flashing the Morse code to you. Yeah, I never use that, even though it's like a legitimate method, just because it's it takes ages. So I just kind of go over and force through it. But yeah, it would be interesting. There's so many steps, I can think about quite a few steps in zombies that we actually still don't know like what to do. It's kind of just like hit and miss. And you might get it, you might not. And it would be cool, yeah. But you were also very right with saying that we're gonna have our own techniques anyway. So yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it. And they did tell us that all the steps in the main quest are fully, like, logical. Like, if you use logic, you can figure it out yourself anyway. There's nothing crazy, like no hidden rocks or anything like that.
The hidden rocks. Or even, like, the Gorod Krovi valve step, too, because that, you could do some trial and error and get that done, but people were resorting to, like, a website to see the combination where the valve's going to end up at this POI on the map. Like, I doubt we'll see steps like that again, or even like the bomb step on Gorod Krovi as well. Like, that's a fairly difficult step depending on your skill as a player. So I'm not even against quests being harder again. I'm not. Like, I live for stuff like that. It's hilarious to grind it out with your friends and get frustrated and try it 10 more times. But I get it. I get it from the perspective of maybe the studio that says, hey, so few people are beating these Easter eggs. And even in Cold War, that's what blows my mind too. I wanted to ask you, they confirm on the COD pod, or was it the COD pod, or was it the?
It was COD pod.
It was okay. Pod. Yeah, they confirmed that very few people had ever, like, what was the percentage majority? Was it 5?
It was 5% for D Machine, and D Machine is like, it was
the
a
easiest
launch map. It's an easy Easter egg. So
and I think
5% on that.
I think even the D Machine stats, if you pulled up like the PlayStation Trophy Tracker or some other trophy tracker sites, D Machine have been regarded as like the most completed Easter egg ever in Zombies history somehow. I mean, I'm not really surprised because it's fairly simple, but even with that stat, apparently so few people did that Easter egg. So I can't even imagine other maps that are far more difficult. Like, that just blows my mind. So that could help, explain why maybe Easter eggs are a lot more casual friendly going forward. And maybe they have a balance where the main quest is easier.
The guided mode.
Yeah.
The guided mode coming in, yeah.
Yeah, the guided mode coming in can kind of allow main quest to be a lot harder, but maybe there's a balance of like, okay, the main quest is fairly accessible, but side Easter eggs could just be the quests that are significantly harder. I mean, how would you feel about that? Is that a good balance?
No, that's how they're gonna be. Yeah, that's what they told us. They said, like I just said, the main quest, no hidden rocks, but they said side quest, there's nothing off the table. Like, there will be some crazy stuff. So that I'm super excited about that. But going on to what you said about the percentages, man, when I beat I beat the Darkest Shore on World War II for the first time solo. Like I did it co-op. I
Ooh.
think we were like second in the world, but I did it solo for the first time a couple of years ago. When I went onto the leaderboards to see, there was only like 300 people worldwide. It's like 2 years ago, so I think it might not even be over 1,000 yet. I've ever beaten that Easter egg solo.
And that was what launch week you did that?
Insane. I know. On the Darkest Shore, I think we got second in the world, but two years ago, I got my first solo playthrough of it.
Got it.
But
It's a tough one.
But yeah, dude, it's crazy. So those numbers are significantly lower for a lot of other maps. D Machine, even though it's 5%, is an incredibly high number for zombies, I think.
Right. No, that is man. I'm just thinking about like that. How if you think about how many millions of players play zombies, let alone attempt Easter eggs, thinking about how small of a fraction that is for people that have successfully gotten to that ending. I'm like, damn, that's just.
There's been some people in chat that have came through being like, because I think we were talking about this on a previous podcast episode, but there's some regulars in chat here that came through that are like, yeah, I've played D Machine. I've had no, motivation to do the Easter egg. I just go and kill zombies. So there's a large amount of people that just want to simply just go and kill zombies and just have fun with their friends and not even care about an Easter egg. That is also a very large majority of the community, I'd say, aside from people that hunt Easter eggs and do Easter eggs religiously. There's a lot of people, like I said, just want to have fun and don't want to do the steps. So hopefully guide mode changes that. Yeah. I mean,
dude. D Machine, we went in, we got first in the world, and then I just beat the Easter egg again for like myth busting episodes. And apart from that, I was just playing it non-stop for like 2 months, just having fun killing zombies and doing the camo grind on that map as well, and just enjoying it. It's a really fun high round map, and a lot of people just do that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, dude, that's old school. Yeah, but a lot of people are like that. A lot of people don't care about Easter eggs, and I think if the Easter egg is hidden away, not everyone wants to look at a YouTube tutorial unless it's in your face. They're not going to do it. So.
It reminds me a bit about difficulty we were talking about earlier, right? With Black Ops 6. In Cold War, once you upgraded all of your classes, your perks, field upgrades with those Ethereum crystals, those upgrades were locked on those classes and subsets. Whereas with BO6, you can only run a certain amount of augments at a certain moment in time. You can't run all upgrades in a single game. So that's why I think there's at least a step for Black Ops 6 to be a little bit harder, at least, than Cold War. And for all we know, too, right? Liberty Falls is just a beta, and what you played was probably like an alpha. So they can make a lot of changes before October 25th in terms of difficulty, at least. And you mentioned the Rampage Inducer. I didn't see that in Liberty Falls, unless I walked past it. I don't think I saw one. I don't think anybody.
I think it's. I think I've seen it on Chopper's gameplay. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Oh, maybe it's by the Xville. That's probably where it is by Spawn. I walked past it, but no, that's something to think about too with the difficulty, right? Like BO6 already has a system in place to avoid, I guess, the Cold War issue where you've upgraded everything and you're just decked out no matter what you're playing. But what were your thoughts on like open world Outbreak in Cold War, and then again with its sequel in Modern Warfare 3? Were you never really a fan of that style, or are you just happy to be back with round base in BO6?
I think Outbreak was a nice surprise. I think for that DLC season, it hurt the community because I think everyone just wanted round based, and then that dropped, and then. Even though it's brilliant, and I had so much fun on it, like we had a real Activision competition on there where we had to like speed run to the highest round within like 90 minutes, and we got to give away a year's supply of pizza and a gaming PC to someone.
Oh, that's awesome! Amazing.
I might have won it, So
hell yeah
to do that. But no, we had a lot of fun on Outbreak. It was great, and having two Easter eggs drop. I think having DLC where it's like everyone's hyped about a new map, and then it's just like, oh, there's just another Easter egg placed on this thing you've already had access to for months. That was a little bit of a thing, but it was near the end of the cycle of the game, and you got to understand they're moving on to different projects and stuff. It'll probably be the same with Black Ops 6, like later down the line. DLC 4 might be incredible, and they've spent so much time for that. When I say DLC 4, I mean the final map. Yeah. But the map before the final map might be very lackluster because they might have just winding down and they need to move on to the next project. So, in terms of Outbreak though, really enjoyed it. I go back a decent amount, and when I do, I have a lot of fun. It is great, and I think Dude, I think it might be the easiest way for someone to cross over from multiplayer and Warzone to try out zombies for the first time. Anyway, it's brilliant. It's full open world. You're never gonna get bombarded unless you're trying crazy stuff. And it's just free to go around. At least for the first 5 or 6 rounds, you're not gonna die. You're fine for those rounds, and you can just take your time and go into it slowly, you know. But then with Modern Warfare 3 coming out, I was just happy we're getting zombies. Like I remember sitting in this room one day and I got a phone call. It was like early 2019, and I get a phone call, and it's an Activision rep, and she's like, "Hey, I'm just calling because I want a quick catch up. So there's a game coming out at the end of the year. It doesn't have zombies on it, and we just want to make sure you've got a plan for the rest of the year because you're not going to be able to do zombies." I was like, okay, well, it's great to get that kind of heads up. But with Modern Warfare 3, knowing that we were getting some zombies, it's at least content, right? And I remember playing it at COD Next. I thought it was brilliant. I really, really enjoyed it. And I gave that feedback saying it was great. And then with when it dropped, dude, I was obsessed. I was like completely addicted, at least for a solid month. And I played it every single day from launch until New Year's Eve. And then I'm like, why am I still playing this game? I have not had anything else to do on this since it came out, and I've done everything, and I've got everything months ago. And I just thought, you know what? I need to not play it. Like, there's just nothing going on there. I have nothing to do. So to go on to what they could have done, they needed to update the game a little bit sooner. That's all it would have been. You know, if they would have done some major updates like within a month, I probably would still be playing it all the way up until the last update. But you know, if I fall off something, I'm off it then.
You're done.
I find it too
right.
Kind of, yeah. I find it difficult to jump back in and start everything again and just like learn all the mechanics again. Once I'm done, I'm done. But open world, it has a place. I'm not someone sitting here saying I never want to see it again. I do want to see it again, weirdly. Yeah. But I think that it needs to either coincide with round-based. I think the perfect way to do this is like, if they were going to do Modern Warfare 3, like we had it, they should have like took at least a few areas of the map and went, okay, transit style. You've got this, and you can go in there and do round-based. All your perks are in there. Go have fun. As well as the big map. No contracts in there, just classic zombies.
Right.
And I think that would have made everyone happy. I don't know why they didn't do that, because we saw the outcry for that with Duran Fang. Like, you know, I played Duran Fang for like 2 days and I'm like, I'm done here. But like, that's all it needed. It just needed a round-based area or an Easter egg area or something. But but with that Modern Warfare 3 free game mode, it was brilliant, fantastic. But I think if it would have launched, or even a month later, it had certain areas put out as round-based, or even just added in extra contracts or extra things that you can do inside of the map, or extra unlocks, or just anything, it would have made me stick around longer. But yeah, unfortunately, it just didn't do that. So it made me drop off very, very after New Year's Eve.
I think that was the sentiment for a lot of the community, because you had... Obviously, it had a strong launch. I thought it had a really strong launch. Season 1, also, people love that. The new schematics, the red worm boss fight, like in the actual, like the Easter egg relating to that was awesome. And then after that, it was just new bosses, new story missions, and some schematics that didn't really match up to the ones they added in Season 1. And I think I fell off probably around season 2. Season 2 Reloaded. I didn't really care at that point, because, you know, it's sort of like what kind of happened to you. You know, you played it so much, you know, okay, there's not much to do. And then when they did add stuff, it was kind of like, okay, I haven't played this in a while, so I don't want to, like, you know, relearn everything and go through the motions of that. But I kept up with it, and you know, obviously for content reasons, and to tweet stuff out about it. And I know DK was hopping in every single update to cover the zombie stuff, but yeah, I think you've already sort of went into this on your own, but, you know, what do you think MW do to maintain the such popular community standing it had from that launch period? Because I think a lot of people shared your same opinion for the launch window of that mode.
Yeah, I think now that you've said that, I think looking back, I did play through the VR11 update and the Red Worm, and I just thought
like, it was a great update.
It was great, yeah, but I just don't think there was enough. I would have just taken another mastery camo. Even you could have thrown the worst looking camo ever, but just called it a mastery camo, and I would have gone out grinding again for days and days and days. Like, That is all I need. I just need something to go for that allows me to play that people actually want to see. But I think after it was an update where once you've seen the red worm boss, you don't want to see it again. Like that's my feedback that I get to see on stream every day when I'm streaming. People are like, "Can you please play something else?" Like you just literally playing the red. Like I don't want to see the red worm boss like 3 days in a row, or I don't want to, and. It surprised me that I actually managed to go from launch of Modern Warfare 3 to New Year's with people still watching every day and still getting really good numbers, like 1,000+ a day just watching. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, this is great. It's really good. But sometimes you got to look at the numbers and go, I can take a hit on the numbers if I just move on to something that I'm actually enjoying again. So yeah, that was it. But I think just constant updates, man. New side eggs, just new stuff to do for every type of player. I think there was the only people that seemed to be happy at that time was people that would just get in the game. Like they had so much to do. But I don't know many people that managed to survive and have fun throughout the entire year of Modern Warfare 3 playing it every day. Like it might be one of the only zombies that hasn't happened where I can't actually name anyone that played it every day religiously.
Because Vanguard was a lot different because you had round-based, the pivot to round-based to end that cycle. So everyone hopped on Shido Numa, the Archon, which I think they had brilliant quests, by the way. They were very well designed Easter eggs on those two maps at least. But no, I get your point too about people that didn't play it like start to finish the entire 6 seasons. Because I mean, Modern Warfare 3 right now, if you buy the game, there's a lot to do. If you buy it today, like three acts of missions,
or get it on Game Pass,
yeah, 3 acts of missions, and then all the seasonal riffs and schematics and but that's a good point too about you were mentioning kind of like the earlier with the content drought. I'm thinking back, right? What were some of the toughest droughts in zombies, right? We had from Zetsubo to Gorod was kind of crazy.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah,
I also think I'm going to forget this if I don't mention it now. You mentioned like Outbreak being regarded as DLC 2 in Cold War. I remember, man, after Firebase, it was a crazy gap till Mauder Toten, and I loved Outbreak. I did. I enjoyed both quests, but that was what, February to July. That's crazy, dude, for round based. And then
I even just think, D Machine to Firebase, just like that was huge. 3 or 4 months with just D Machine.
Yeah. Oh man, that was wild. So now I'm thinking about in a different world, if Treyarch didn't have to do Black Ops 6 right after MW3, I bet you MW3 would have gotten updates every season that were on par with at least what DMZ got the year prior, right? Because you could see a whole new map that supports that gameplay style, right? Fortune's Keep, Rebirth, and then we had Onslaught essentially in multiplayer through the Horde. What was it called? Horde Point. That was technically Onslaught. They could have totally at least done like a wave based kind of basic zombie killing mode from
on
MW3
MP maps,
on MP or the Vortex maps, right? There was definitely some potential there, and a different universe for sure. We could have saw something like that. But
droughts and zombies, man. That Zetsubo drought was insane.
Oh yeah.
I feel bad for the people that didn't get on board with specific games as well. Like for some people, their drought was from Black Ops 3 to Black Ops 4. Like that's insane. Like I could never do that because IW was insanely good, and that needs more respect. Yeah, some droughts are crazy. I just remember the Modern Warfare drought, like all the way through Modern Warfare. It just felt like I was replaying the same thing over and over and over again. But it feels like we're going to be eating good for the next 2 years at least.
Oh yeah. I'm hoping it's like just a full year of just solid round base, maybe 6 maps, bunch of LTMs, crazy seasonal updates. Then maybe that rumored other Black Ops game, whatever that is for next year. Easy opportunity for Outbreak. Easy opportunity to be like, hey, it's the year 2025. Let's remaster BO2 MP maps. And hey, there's a lot of BO2 zombie maps that never got remastered a single time. Got those Victus maps. They're kind of just sitting there somewhere in a vault. I mean, we'd love to see that. Lots of potential for that. But I think that'd be awesome too. I love what you mentioned earlier about Outbreak having its place. Just have it coexist with round base at the same time. Appeal to everybody. And Black Ops 6 generally has been marketed as a game that kind of appeals to everybody. So I'm curious to see how the reception looks in just a couple of weeks' time. Crazy next few weeks ahead of us. But I'm so happy we got you on today, man, because a week from today, my baby's going to be born. Unless she comes sooner.
Goodness.
But yeah, I have a crazy... Appreciate it. I'm happy we got to get you on. I know you said you could have you for an hour today, so I appreciate the time you've
Oh,
given
yeah,
us, man.
dude.
Seriously.
We've moved out of this house for a bit just while they're doing all the work for my new
Yeah.
office. So
Yeah.
I've just like left the new house to come here. So yeah, it's been good. I just had to put the kids to bed, so you've got that to look forward to.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sincerely appreciate your time, man. Seriously, Pizza, man. You're the best.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And
Mhm.
congratulations, and thank you for having me on. It's been a blast.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Maybe we'll if our schedules align at any point in BO6, we'll get some games in, or if you need help for a myth bust, I got plenty of dudes that'll love to join if you ever need something
Oh,
like that.
Always,
Totally
always.
collab.
Might even have the squad like you, DK Pizza, Lego, and Dalek.
Oh,
That
yeah.
the squad. Never
It could
know.
be, yeah, depending on what's going on for sure.
It's pretty huge. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always tough too, especially because of time zones, like just aligning everybody's schedules. It's crazy, dude. So John and Lego and I had to schedule every season of Modern Warfare 3. You get together for the seasonal drop or whatever it was, and unfortunately, it was only 3 players too, so you couldn't get 4 people in there. But
I know.
that's another thing too that we didn't want back from DMZ, but that was the system. And you didn't. I don't think I asked you about DMZ. Did you ever dabble into that a little bit?
No, I think I played like 1 or 2 games. That was it. It was just I don't know why I didn't either because apparently it was really really good. Yeah, I don't know. I should have done, but I didn't.
Yeah, it was definitely a unique year, I think, for content. Because for me, like, I have a obviously different content structure from what you do, but with MW2, I was kind of just bouncing around. You got raids, you got DMZ, there was some Warzone stuff going on. There was like a ton of things going on at once. And Modern Warfare 2 was hilarious, just jumping back and forth across everything. But wishing you all the best, Pizza, with Black Ops 6's content, man. You got what was it, 2-3 weeks? What are we at right now?
Yeah, dude.
About
3
3
weeks. And
Yeah.
then, first in the world grind.
Hey,
and then
there you
straight to like 3 days after we got Myth Busting Mondays episode 1, dude. Cannot wait.
Ooh. Hell yeah, man. I'll be tuning in for
Yeah.
sure. But thank you so much for your time, man.
Hey,
Yep.
thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.
Yeah.
See you guys soon.
Bye.
We'll see you, man.
Bye bye.
We'll see you. All right, chat. So we have another set amount of topics here we'll get through. Appreciate everybody that's new and stuck around here, man. Let me move Fajardi's camera up here now. Yeah, you got put down. Oh, you're right here. I see. Hold on. Let me move you up a little bit. But yeah, chat. We still got some topics to get through. But what a great discussion, man. It was awesome having we got two zombie creators in a row back to back there. An absolute blast for sure. We actually had another guest lined up for this Friday who had to postpone. So we'll see when that guest follows up with us again. But yeah, next Friday obviously won't be an episode. I'll be in the hospital. But then I think the week after that, what's our dates looking like? Let's see. We have next week's the 11th. Oh, so there actually is one more episode before Black Ops 6 drops. That's October 18th. So yeah, we'll see if we get we'll get an episode going that day. If a guest has a different schedule, we'll end up pre-recording an episode chat or something for next Friday, but we'll see. But yeah, it should at least be one more bombshell before Black Ops 6 releases. Then the 25th of October is crazy because I think I could say this now. It looks like Black Ops 6 globally launches. I mean, that's obviously October 25th, but if you do the New Zealand trick, technically everyone's going to be on. If I have my math correct, it's going to be October 24th at 8 a.m. Central, which is 6 o'clock Pacific, and that's 9 o'clock Eastern. I believe that is the math. If it's not, obviously I'll follow up in a video. I'm taking a look right here at this email again. So the New Zealand trick, remind me, Fajardi, that was that console only last year, or was that every platform?
I forget.
I don't remember.
I've drawn a blank on it. I think because the way COD HQ works now, I think you can just straight up just change your location on your Activision account and it'll work on PC. MCZ is saying Xbox only, but I swear he did it on PlayStation.
I did it on PlayStation last year for sure. I know for sure I had my console plugged in. I just don't remember why I couldn't go on PC. I don't remember why that was the case.
I think PC didn't work last year. Console only, but if you're in PC, okay. If you're on PC, you could join a console friend. Okay.
Like you had to. So a console friend had to be in a lobby, and you had to then join that console player to play on PC. Is that what it was?
I think I remember some friends doing that last year before it launched.
Yeah, I know for sure I was on PlayStation. That's definitely something I looked into. But no, I'm excited though, to get because what I'm thinking, chat. Obviously, everyone's gonna have their opinions on this. Everyone's entitled to one. When that New Zealand trick opens up, I'm assuming it's that Thursday morning, which is technically a full day before the global. Or actually, no, I think it's exactly, what is it, 16 hours or something? Whatever the math is there, it's before the October 25th hits. worldwide. I want to be on campaign first, knocking that out to the best of my ability, then jumping right to zombies afterwards. I'll probably like end stream and start a new one right off the rip. I'm probably gonna be fried, man, but we'll see what works out with that. And I know for you, Mr. Fajardi, like you're gonna be trying to navigate. You're trying to navigate everything on the Twitter, let alone
I'm probably
yeah.
like, I mean, I've said this before. It's like I pretty much have zero interest of actually playing on launch because all my interest is going to be on whether it be making thumbnails, getting tweets out, doing live coverage on this, and that, or that sort of thing. Obviously, I might hop on for some maybe some quick like Liberty Falls games when the game's actually out. But during that New Zealand time, I'm not doing the New Zealand trick. So I'm not hopping on a flight there. But
we're not. It's out of the budget to take a flight to New Zealand this year. We're chilling on that one. Also, Chad, if anybody sees my tweet that just went up, I forgot to put it out. It's not a big deal. Just if anybody sees that and like, hey, well, you tweeted again about pizza. No, I forgot to put my my usual bombshell tweet out. It's out now. But okay, you were on PC earlier, Revived. Got it. I would because I remember MW3. I definitely did it on a PS5. I would love to be on PC to play the BO6 campaign. That's the goal for sure. Just to be able to make sure everything's as clean as possible.
I think the New Zealand trick the past few years has become so mainstream. I think they should just start launching the game at 8 a.m. the day like on the 24th.
Yeah, don't even specify that it's like, oh, this region, that region, this time zone. Just say it's going to be, for example, 9 o'clock Eastern, October 24th, whatever time zone conversion that is worldwide. There you go. Like, I agree with you fully because I think it gets so complicated. I'm actually going to make a separate video.
Anymore.
There's no point. I'm probably going to make a separate video about this sooner or short or something. Just talking about here's all the times available. Here's what we know. Here's how it works. Shouldn't get in trouble for talking about that because literally everybody does it. You know what I mean?
And then I think there was like even some Activision employees last year like joking about getting flights to New Zealand.
Yeah, again, right. It's something so innocent, right? It's just to play the game. Here's what I hope, which is I guess it's kind of wrong to say because New Zealand technically should have access to everything, but you would almost hope that. Obviously, this is for a content creator too that would care about this, but you would almost hope the servers aren't online when the New Zealand version releases, and it's like, okay, you can only play campaign solo. So then I could record all those, schedule them for when that'd be interesting.
Here's the thing: if the servers weren't online, you wouldn't be able to play anything. You need
connection. Yeah,
you need internet connection and servers for everything. So
right,
I believe that's how it works, right?
And there isn't an embargo, I don't think, for Black Ops 6. So
it's when it releases. Revive just put in chat. It's when it releases in New Zealand, then the embargo lifts.
Right, because. Technically, it wouldn't be fair, right? If you live in New Zealand, you're like, hey, I'm a content creator in New Zealand. I can't cover the game. I can't stream it or because I think that happened. If I'm not mistaken, dude, I could be completely wrong about this chat. I swear, I think it was Skype and a few other people in New Zealand that had access to Dead of the Night during BO4. And again, remember how they didn't market the map at all? So he just started streaming it, and it was I saw it was on 200K. It was banging, bro. This stream, I think it was a stream or a video. It might have been a stream. He just started playing it. He had no idea what the fuck was going on. The map was just out. He just started. I swear he was just streaming it, banging, bro. The stream was going crazy. And then I think there was like some embargo or something. He got striked. He got a copyright strike for streaming it early. I'm like, what the? It was just the weirdest week ever for zombies. So yeah, I know somebody put in chat too. Leaked campaign cutscenes with no audio. Definitely ignore all that. I didn't watch any of it, but to my understanding. I saw a few tweets saying that there are it's a lot of out of context, unfinished filler type cutscenes. It's not like the main narrative and the juicy spoilers or any of that. Thank God.
I think a lot of the big stuff is going to happen in game,
like rendered in game, right? Not
I think they can do that. I think they can do that now because of the IW engine. I think you're going to see a lot more bigger things happen. In game, like dialogue wise,
right,
character wise.
No, for sure. And I know you mentioned this at the beginning of this episode, right? Treyarch just tweeted out about I think a couple of hours ago that a lot of things are going to be announced in the coming days. So it's probably a case like almost every day next week there'll be some type of blog post, some announcement. Might just go live every day. Obviously Wednesday I'll be live anyway for the MW3 Rewind event, the final event. With some free operator skins, free camos, the last aftermarket part. It's a pretty big week for MW3. It's essentially the finale. It's the send-off, man. It's like, send a tear to our eyes, man, how good MW3 was post-launch-wise, right?
Well, technically the 16th is going to be that day when I that's what I believe they're going to do the Cottage UI overhaul. Mid October is what they said in the blog post, and
Right.
that
Right.
is when the Candy Hunt event ends, and that is when the Rewind event ends on the
And the
16th.
haunting.
So I think,
The haunting too.
yeah,
Purgatory.
yeah. So I think that event's gonna hit, and they're gonna be like, okay, Black Ops UI, go. But anyway.
Right. Right. No, I think so. I think so as well. And it's kind of funny because I'll get to this a little bit more with some of the comments we got, but I know there's been some people like, hey, DK, are you like regurgitating all the same content, or did I already see this? I make sure that every vid is as unique as it can be in terms of material and direction, and especially with marketing. I know Fajardi helps out a fuck ton with that. But I think occasionally,
more than a fuck ton.
Well, yeah. I was thinking more so about like titles, but no, thumbnails. Obviously, that's all you.
Oh
But,
yeah.
with Black Ops 6 right now, obviously it's been very quiet the last week and a half, 2 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. So I've tried to look at a lot of the topics that haven't been touched on enough. I haven't talked about that much, and make a full video on that topic, this and that. But obviously, I think it's fair to say for any content creator, on average, new people check out your new content. If you're posting full time, it's not going to on average, it's not that many regular people that will see every single video that you post, right? So I think people forget about that a lot when it comes to the YouTube side of things. But I know a few days ago I talked about the October update that you just mentioned, and I feel like that's such a big update that people aren't going to really grasp until it actually drops. That overhaul has me really excited, dude. And I know people are like,
Yep.
oh, get rid of that and get rid of COD HQ. It's like, no, what we're about to see either next week or the week after, I think it's what you said, though. It's probably the 16th, once like MW3 Season 6 is officially done adding content. That overhaul is essentially what we all thought COD HQ was going to be when they initially announced it for MW2 many years ago. Like, we're talking like a pretty clean interface. It's not an infinite scrolling simulator. You don't have to scroll down to find your content like you have to do now. It puts Black Ops 6 in the spotlight. And if you want to still boot MW3 or Warzone from the new COD HQ menu, you just got to cross launch, similar to what we did with the beta. But then when Season 1 integrates, Warzone will be seamless with, the new premium. But any other thoughts on like the makeover coming really soon? Like I'm just pumped about it, man. I want to see a fresh interface on my PC, dude.
Yeah, I mean, what we've seen an image and about 3 seconds of it. So, that's I think it's a little too early to tell if it's going to be better or not. I think aesthetically it looks better. I think I can give it that, but we won't know if it actually works better until we actually get our hands on it. And I'm guessing the 16th, like we've been talking about. I think that's gonna be the day. I think they're gonna.
That's fair.
With the marketing starting next week, they're gonna be like, okay, we're talking about Prestige because that was in the progression blog post that said, yeah, stay tuned for a Prestige blog. I'd hope we get some more stuff on zombies, preferably augments, because we don't know too much about it.
Yeah.
And then honestly, zombie Intel changes drops. They're doing. Yeah, exactly. Or Intel drops. And then I think they're going to do a COD HQ deep dive. And then they're going to announce that the date is going to be the 16th and the update hits. I think that's what we're looking at timeline wise. And then obviously you have like a week and some change before BO6 releases. And then it's just going to be marketing trailers, everything ramp up until the launch.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree, man. I think what's also really exciting, and as a reminder, chat, Bombshell is powered by Detonated. We have something right now that should be unveiled on around the 14th of October, which is actually my birthday. So my birthday gift is seeing everybody's reaction to something pretty big that we should be showcasing very soon. I'm very excited about that. And then we have something else also that'll be out closer to like the launch window of Black Ops 6 as well. So a lot of really big things happening this month. And then obviously with November, we should be seeing Season 1. Pizza made a comment earlier. He's like, oh, the DLC 1 in December. I'm like, what if it's sooner than that? But I'd assume that's probably the...
Potentially. Yeah. I think realistically, I know I put a tweet out saying like, oh, November 5th or 6th or whatever, because that's what the in-game timer goes to.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I think they're just going to extend that randomly one day, probably on the 16th with the new COD HQ update, if that is going to happen that day. I think that's when they would extend that timer to be more toward, let's say, I think I would comfortably say like week 3 or 4 of November or week 1 of December. I think that's going to be our Season 1 window.
Yeah,
I think,
no, I agree.
realistically.
I agree. Like I honestly wouldn't. I wouldn't even mind if they're like, hey, season 1's gonna get delayed till like first week of December. I wouldn't mind that because then Reloaded's when devs get back from holiday break, and then it kind of paves the way a lot better for season 2, which would probably be beginning of February, like it always is, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
But something that I'm also really stoked about. I know we were talking about. Did we talk about this in the last pod? I don't think so. But something that I believe somebody tweeted at me is that during COD Next, and this is a great example of how, because I'm at the event, it's so easy to miss things. And I know you're managing a million other fucking things, and everyone's probably watching like creators more than they are the broadcast. We actually missed this secret reveal that was said so softly by Miles Ross, the legend, man. Great caster. He says you'll be able to get him in game soon. If you're like, wait, get what in game soon? He was referring to the replacer. And we're like, hold on a second. That's a huge confirmation here, because in, I think recent Call of Duty titles, we don't really see any bundles till season 1. I know there's the exception of like an endowment bundle or like your Vault Edition bonuses, whatever, but you can get them in game soon. I'm assuming that's probably pre-season window, not season 1, but could always be a season 1 battle pass offering. Who knows? But how exciting is that, man? We saw the replacer as an operator in Black Ops 4. What are your thoughts on getting him in Black Ops 6 somehow, dude? That's crazy.
Yeah, I think there's definitely been a noticeable step up of the replacer marketing. They released the initial trailer with a few skits, but over the past few days they've been releasing new skits that weren't even in that initial trailer, and even some extended skits from the trailer as well. So they're going all out on this marketing. I think the reason is at the end of it they're going to be like, oh yeah, by the way, you've seen this guy over the marketing for the leading up to the game. He'll be like a launch bundle. I think that would be awesome. To kind of start off Black Ops 6 with a little bit of an item shop, just with the replacer operator in there, or maybe even he has an associated challenge event with him. Who knows?
Please.
That's like a perfect preseason event to sort of mimic the Makarov and Task Force 141 preseason events we got last year. Be like a replacer event.
Oh yeah,
like just a whole bunch of funny calling cards and emblems. Like that would be awesome.
Right.
That would be something to start off the game on the right track. On top of the mini Halloween event, we're also getting a set of multiplayer. Don't know if that's going to even involve any bundles. We don't even know if that's going to involve any bundles.
How much sleep are we getting, brother? How much sleep are we getting in the next few weeks, dude? Holy shit. That's great, man. That's great. Hey, I'm down, dude. And so just for reference too, chat, you guys.
First of all, you're already not going to get all the sleep because of your daughter coming, but
yeah.
Exactly. I guess it all works out. You're.
I'm not sleeping anyways. Perfect. Perfect. For reference, my replacer video a few days ago, chat. I know Fajardi and I hopped onto BO4 on PS4 because your content obviously doesn't transfer from console to PC. I mean, look at the old days, dude, of how content worked. It was locked to that platform. So we plugged in our PlayStations. We both had the replacer. We hopped in to get some B-roll. It was hilarious. Just kind of walking around the blackout map and, emoting with the replacer. It was definitely a blast. But getting to see him as an operator is also fascinating to me for Black Ops 6 because he was limited to just blackout in BO4. You couldn't play. I actually forgot about this detail. You couldn't. I know about zombies, but you couldn't play as him in multiplayer. I totally forgot that all the operators were just for blackout in BO4.
Yep.
I'm like, and you had to play a specialist in multiplayer.
And that included also the supply drop operators, even
everybody
from Sergey, Hudson, Weaver, the entirety of the Victus crew. I mean, I guess you could play them as zombies, but there were some really cool things like Ted the bus driver. There's some really cool things that Blackout did. But when we went back there and looked at it, we're like, we're so glad it doesn't work like this anymore. If I buy something, if I earn something, I want to be able to use it in every single mode.
Right. Right. Oh, but be careful. Be careful. You just said you want to play as any operator you want. People are going to say you hate set crews and you hate, old zombies then if you say that.
Well, that's not even like obviously I'm not against crews. I think crews have always been good. I think I've said in the past that, I never thought they'd go back to crews because of, the operator system, but here we are, Treyarch. If anyone's going to do it, it'd be Treyarch to cook and come back and do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's a crazy time we lived in where you still had season pass, you had a little bit of free content, the contraband streams,
those like the battle passes,
the battle passes, and then you had supply drop systems and clear like pay to win aspects. With some of the weapons. I think there was what is it? One of them with the explosive bullets. I forget what it was. I think it was the Stingray.
The Stingray. Oh my god, dude, that operating
That had
model
the
was
explosive
busted.
bullets. That was
Yeah.
crazy. And then I think what was there another one? The VMP was also very busted.
By default, I think it was busted. That was the best weapon in Blackout.
Yeah. That was hilarious. BO4 is awesome.
Oh yeah, no, BO4
for all of its fault, BO4 is awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun game, dude. It's just a fun game. And Mojo said you deserve a week break with all the stuff you're about to have going on. Yeah, so that's funny you mentioned that, Mojo, because I know there's going to be marketing this upcoming week, so I'll cover that as long as it's not on Friday. I'll be able to cover all that, no problem. But I also do have a lot of stuff on deck that will just kind of be sitting there unlisted while I'm at the hospital for a couple days. I'm probably gonna be there for 2 days max, if anything. So I'll have stuff, on deck, and then if anything new is revealed, I'll obviously make follow-up videos. Beginning what day would that be? That's like the 13th, 14th. So I'll be good to resume regular content. But certainly, I'd recommend this for any content creator out there to get the best rest you can before things get psycho with the launch of Black Ops 6, because I brought this up in a video I made yesterday. The preseason window for Modern Warfare 3 was actually pretty impressive. Besides the content that was just available by default, campaign, multiplayer, zombies, there was weekly challenges that started up. There was the COD Endowment XP challenge event. There was still stuff.
Weapon.
Yeah, there was a new weapon. There was stuff going on during the preseason window, which is, again, right away. And we already know from COD Next, there's going to be a Halloween event, which I believe is just maybe the infected mode in multiplayer. You could play as a zombie.
Yeah.
And then we might have something with the replacer. Like, there's something going on. And there's even a bundle that I know some folks that tweeted me this clip yesterday. And it's people in the server as well. I appreciate everybody that sends me shit whenever possible. There's a COD Endowment bundle that, again, I never saw. I never saw this at COD Next. I don't remember if they flashed it to us during the pre-brief. I don't think they did. But apparently during the broadcast, there was a bundle called Endeavor. It's a COD Endowment pack that's probably going to cost $10 or $20 cash, and then it's all the proceedings go to veterans. Last year we did get the Code Warrior Modern Warfare 3 pack. I think it was on launch, actually. And then there was the Endowment focused XP challenge event that started like a week or two later. And if you ran the skin, you got an XP bonus. It could be a similar case here with Black Ops 6, right? The Endeavor Tracer pack, you get a milsim looking operator and blueprints that we don't have images of, but I know some of the rewards for this pack leaked a little bit early. We could look at, I think it's a Mac SOG type emblem. There's a spray and I believe a frog looking decal or sticker. So any thoughts on the Endeavor pack? I just never saw this clip, and then I know leakers already posted previews of it on YouTube. I don't know where they got this footage from, but it's out there. Any thoughts on the milsim operator?
I saw some people being like, "Oh, finally a good COD Endowment pack. I might actually pick this one up." I saw a lot of comments and people saying that, and I think COD Endowment's is a really good cause. It fits perfectly for Call of Duty, obviously.
Right.
With it being a military shooter, but I saw some people talking about it. They're like, the skin looks, and I'm just excited for the skins coming in like season 1 and throughout the live seasons, because they're gonna do some crazy shit.
Right.
They've been cooking.
Definitely.
They've been cooking for a while. Even in Cold War, like they were cooking, and that was we all know what happened with that game. Development wise, kind of got thrown on it because Sledgehammer couldn't really finish it and that sort of thing. So
100%.
Treyarch did a good job back then with cosmetics, and I'm sure they're going to knock it out of the park with Black Ops 6.
100%.
Going off that, hopefully there is a post-launch narrative as well, on par with the Cold War one, because the Cold War one was like actual cinema.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, Martin Scorsese, dude, absolute cinema for the Cold War post launch. I think it was
absolute
Miles.
Cinema.
Yeah, Miles Leslie, fantastic dude. By the way, I saw his face when I brought it up at the Treyarch event in June. I was like, post launch, please, we need that again. I didn't even know he had a big part to play in the post launch cinematics for Cold War. I'm like, dude, I can't. I have no words for how fucking good that was, dude. Like that, it was insane. Like you could actually compare like just the 6 seasons of cinematics to like the MW3 campaign. Like narratively, like so much happens in the 6 seasons of Cold War. It's crazy.
And I think also something that was really great about the Cold War post-launch story is that I first of all, this topic is so hilarious because I feel like we've been talking about how good the Cold War post-launch story has been. for like 3 years.
Years,
now. Like,
dude.
For,
Yeah.
for the entirety of the podcast since its conception, we've been
Gassing up.
shilling.
Yeah.
We've been shilling
Glazing the fucking the Cold War post
the
launch.
Cold War post-launch story, and now we're finally
Oh,
gonna get like a
yeah.
continuation part 2 to it.
Right.
I want to see. Not only do I want to see the Cold War post-launch story, sort of get like its own part 2 with the live seasons of Black Ops 6. I also want to see some reference to it and some follow-up in the campaign. We already have I think it was that this was actually in the beta, but one of the Adler quotes is like he mentions Verdansk, like you should have seen what I did at Verdansk, like alluding to the fact of the Cold War post launch. Like Treyarch remembers that. And they even added it to the operator quotes,
right,
which is amazing.
Right.
I wonder if
we're
see
going
that in the campaign.
I wonder if we're going back to Verdansk
post launch
in Black Ops at least, because it's going to be the map in spring, right? So I'm curious if they'll tie that in again in the post launch. I didn't mean to cut you off, by the way.
That would be
quick thought.
Yeah, I mean, that's we've talked about this a lot. How like Verdansk is kind of like one of the biggest things that everyone's sort of like, oh, okay. Like people seem to don't even care that Verdansk is coming.
I don't think it's hit people yet, to be honest with you, because I've been saying this chat. Like I'm excited to see how Verdansk plays with Omni movement and whatnot, but generally speaking, I haven't seen much discussion about it on YouTube or Twitter or anything. I think it's not going to hit people until after the new year, when everyone's like, oh, what's the next Warzone map? It's like, oh, we probably in March or something they'll end up.
Well, yeah, I think Area 99 is going to have a good buffer for people to sort of like, we just got a Warzone map. Like, I'm not going to think we need a Warzone map so soon. But I definitely think around Season 2 Reloaded, Season 3, if that is when they're going to do it. Because it would be for the I'm assuming it's going to be for the 5-year anniversary of
Warzone. Yeah.
Warzone. That's when they're going to do it. And in March 2025 next year, I believe it was March 10th that Warzone initially launched.
Mm-hmm.
That falls on a Monday, so it's either going to be the 5th or the 12th whenever they decide to do that. I'd say,
Indeed,
as like a seasonal update week. But
we haven't even thought about how seasons are going to work. Will it just be the Modern Warfare schedule where it's like Wednesday, 11 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock Eastern, or will they go back to the Cold War system of, was it Wednesdays as well in Cold War, or was it Thursdays in Cold War? I don't remember.
I think
Wednesday night?
I think it was
going into Thursday? Maybe.
I think it was Monday night going into Tuesday.
Oh, shit. Start of the week?
I think.
I don't even remember, chat, but I remember I remember there always being this crazy cool period of time where, like, wasn't it the night before the update, you would see the menus change for the new season, right? And the new kill streak was available or something, right? Something like that.
And then the crystal, you can gain the new crystals before the upgrades are available, so you can spend them immediately.
Right. And then at like, I think it was 9 o'clock at night or something. It would, those are just like, I don't mind if they do that again, but I just feel bad for so many people, because if you're like Pacific, Central, or Eastern, like, yeah, you're up all night pretty much. If you're a content creator or just playing casually, you're gonna be up all night.
We were down for
I'm
it.
down.
every single. I was down for it again. Screw it.
I just get worried, or this is completely off topic, or not really, but I get worried about stuff like that because I think Xfinity, at least, is, and knock on wood, it's
shaky at night.
Exactly. And I feel like that's typically where, like, oh, you get like a random packet burst or some random like lag for like an hour from like 3 to 4 a.m. Like, who would care if you're sleeping, right? But if you're streaming, that's not good.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see what schedule we see for our first season. But yeah, things are gonna get pretty real pretty quick. I'd say once BO6 comes out, I think everyone's gonna be fucking packed with things to do, and then before you know it, like we could be looking at a week 5 season 1 drop, which I believe, if my math is correct, because week 5 of Modern Warfare 3 last year was season 1 after the game came out. So week 5 this year would be roughly, I think, the 20th of November, which is the week before Thanksgiving. It works. So the 13th would be marketing, if they stick to that usual schedule. But lots to think about when it comes to our first season. But also want to thank everybody again for all the love on the recent detonated coverage. I know Fajardi's been killing it on the Twitter as per usual, but we've had lots of new articles going up on the website for those that prefer to read. I know the challenge event from the other day, Candy Hunt, was also pretty successful. There was a lot of interest in the rewards for that one. How are you feeling about Candy Hunt, man, now that it's out? How do you compare it to the Soul Capture from last year with Modern Warfare 2, now that we've seen the rewards?
Again, I don't even think it puts what's the saying? Put a candle to it. I don't even think it does that. Is that the saying? It basically has nothing on it. The Candy Hunt event. It's still a good event. You can complete it relatively fast, which I don't know if it's intentional or not, because the menu does say you need 1,000,000 candy, and yet you only need to collect 6,000 for it to complete the event, and therefore unlock the mastery reward, which is the Blood Red Riding Hood operator skin for Banshee.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, compared to the soul capture one, I mean, that was like, it was like a legitimate grind to get those 1,000 souls, and then to get the ghoulie camo. And obviously I've talked about this in the past few podcasts, but like the ghoulie camo is just generational. Like that's a generational camo. So many people are hyped leading up to that, and then it got nerfed. I remember putting a tweet about that, and then like everyone was like talking about that tweet. So that was some really good times on that. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, I think the whole hype leading up to the ghoulie camo was just so much better than any reward we've gotten this year. And then that obviously kind of went along with the content that MW2 had to offer. Like I've been going back and I've been reposting the old clips from last year from the butcher boss fight and the UFO boss fight. And those are surreal how that was in Call of Duty. Like it's insane. But yeah, definitely comparing the soul capture to the Candy Hunt. I think the Candy Hunt does a better job at obviously having it uncapped and more frequent drops. But the soul one had better rewards. So if you just merge those two together, which hopefully Black Ops 6 does it, where it's like, it's still grindy, but there's no caps and there's like a lot to earn. I think that's a good happy medium. And then obviously good rewards. I think that if you hit the sweet spot there, which is going to be awesome. But we were talking about this, I think, off stream, where it was like, Black Ops 6, we're fine if there's not as many events as MW3, as long as the rewards are always amazing. Because we got this a lot in MW3, where yeah, there was an event every single week, but a lot of people were kind of turned off by if it was just a blueprint, if it was an unanimated camo, that sort of thing, right?
There's definitely some conflicting opinions about that. I'm one of those people that, again, I'm not trying to say, oh, we need less content. I'm not saying less is better.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope. I'm not saying less is better. Sometimes less is more, right? That is a famous saying, but I'm looking for, I think, a better balance with this system in particular, because I'm not saying I want less events. I'm just saying maybe we need more variety with what the mastery unlock is. For example, a challenge event in Black Ops 6 could be an operator skin, and we only got a handful in MW3, by the way. There was the Act 3 mission one, the Season 2 Zombies event one, Blue Monster, which is a code, not even an event, WWE, which was awesome, the WWE one with the belt, and then recently we got the Red Riding Hood, and then I know with the Rewind event coming out next week, you get 2 operator skins with that, which is crazy, by the way. That's crazy. You get 2 operator skins and I think 6 camos from that event alone. But to my point, I think because MW3 had so many events that just rewarded people with camos, I think some of the drops didn't have that charm that I think Ghoulie did, and some of the other amazing animated camos in MW3. Not to say still camos shouldn't exist, but I think when it comes to mastery rewards for BO6 events, hopefully we get more of a variety, where some of them are Wonder Weapon skins, some of them are operator skins, some of them are, I don't know. I wouldn't even mind if there was like an operator mod that was an event reward. Especially if it's OP. That's worth the grind, in my opinion, for a weapon you're probably going to use for a whole season. You know what I mean? Or even a ranged weapon too.
When it comes to obviously weapons, I think it would be the best case scenario out of those, as long as it's not gatekeeped events. Because gatekeeped events and weapons are terrible.
I don't like.
We've seen that with the crossbow and MW2. We've mentioned our distaste about that many
MW2
times.
season 2, right? I think that was.
Yeah, the I think it also had the cherry blossom skin as well. I think it was like Path of the Ronin.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But it reminds me of the core haunting event, where you just did the challenge event and you got the Lappa.
Lappa Slappa. Yeah.
And I believe that wasn't even that wasn't locked. It was like, okay, how fast you can complete the challenges, that's how fast you can use the weapon. I think that's how it always should be.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you get these gatekeeping things, I think that hurts. Not only does it hurt content, I think that hurts the flow of people's excitement for the actual gun coming out. Because they're like, oh, I've seen this gun sit in my menu for like 2-3 weeks. It's gate kept unlocked. Like I don't really care about the time it comes out. I wanted to use it when I was new in my brain, right?
I can't imagine that it even, or I could imagine that it hurts matchmaking because think about, was it the soul capture event where you were capped at how many you can earn per game? I think that's
Yes,
I think that's unbelievable. Like this is ridiculous, especially
that's ridiculous.
yeah, I think that's ridiculous. I don't understand why that was even considered in the first place. But secondly, I don't know how that would ever help matchmaking, especially if you can keep what you collected when you back out. And imagine if you couldn't even do that. It's like you got to finish the full game out. That's I can't get behind that at all. But if you could keep what you collected and back out and get to another game, that still hurts matchmaking, right? You're gonna have people that are jumping into a match for 2-3 minutes and then queuing for another match, right? I love that there's just no cap on the candy here.
I think that sort of stuff is unavoidable, especially if you're adding like weekly challenges. Like there's always going to be people that just do the challenge and then just leave.
But so much less compared to like if there's like a full challenge event that encourages you to do it, right?
Well, yeah, I agree. But I think you're still gonna see that regardless. It's just gonna be like you said, a lot less. But yeah, Wonder Weapon skins. I think if you're adding like zombie only seasons, like I think it'd be really cool to have Wonder Weapon skins in the Battle Pass. I think that'd be awesome. And you know, not only being able to just have Wonder Weapon skins, but being able to put maybe like a charm on the Wonder Weapon. I think that'd be awesome. You know, customizing it a little bit more and more.
Oh yeah, full weapon kit customization in the menu or something.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I like that. I definitely.
I'm super excited for weapon kits because that's gonna make camos way better. It's gonna make you know, the cosmetic side way better, especially on the zombies front. Because I think there wasn't even a way to do this in MW3. It was kind of just like, okay, like you're screwed if you lose your camo, or if you don't turn out the Pack-a-Punch camo, or
yeah, that's it, right?
You know, like that's it. It's the only guns you spawn in with, which is I don't agree with that at all. And they sort of actually made it better from Cold War, because in Cold War it was the apply blueprint feature by pausing the menu. Now it's just every single gun by default. Whether you pick it up out of the box, get it in the buy it on a wall buy, it will just have your loadout on it. Which
yeah, you have like the what is it? The global weapon builds in Black Ops 6. And I know we've made jokes about this before, like, oh, what is the real goal with that system? Because obviously meta attachments are different from mode to mode. Well, I can give you the one example I could think of that works out perfectly with global builds is that I was looking at the Warzone meta loadouts for season 6, and I went and made all of them in multiplayer on accident, and I'm like, fuck, dude. So that's an example where it's like, okay, at least you could save that build, you know, for all modes in BO6, and then if you have to make, you know, change one mag or one stock, then it's not that big of a deal to remake everything from scratch. But to your point too about weapon kits, I'm really excited about, you know, what that will bring to the table. As far as Candy Hunt though, I remember you mentioned earlier how it says 1 million, but you just have to finish the 4 categories and it auto completes. Yep. I feel like it is bugged because why else would they clarify how much candy you need to unlock the operator? I don't really get that. It's redundant to be like 1 million, but then you're getting 60,000 per category, and then that's only what? That's 240,000 minimum. That still would be nowhere near.
It's only is it 60,000 per category?
Correct. Yeah, but that's so you get, when you finish each category, you get a 60,000 bonus on top of what you. Yeah, my bad. I should have clarified that. That's on top of what you earn to finish that category, which is what is it, a couple thousand per? I think it is like 3,000-4,000. I think it's something like that.
In my tweet, I said it was a total of 6,000 because I thought it was just 1,500 per category.
It might be. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, 240 plus 6. Yeah.
If I was wrong about that, that's just whatever. I took an L on that, I suppose. But yeah, people still got the gist of the tweet. Just finish all 4 categories. It doesn't take that long.
Right. Which I mean, I like the fact that I mean, I don't know. Do I like the fact that it was a 45-minute grind? I like when events are a little bit longer, but can't get everything you want. It's not a big deal. Free content's free content. You know, I think it would have been simpler to explain if it just said finish 4 categories, king size is over, you get the operator. But whatever.
Yeah,
semantics.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. But it's also like, for example, we've had events where every week a new section would unlock, and I don't think that's a solution either.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. No.
So like, you know, if you're like, for example, I'm only at 2 and 4. You know, that you're a content creator, right? Like you're speed running it, trying to find the fastest method to get a video on it as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I think for any casual player, I think it's going to take them, you know, maybe a few hours, because like you said, you're done in 45 minutes. or whatever the case was.
Right. Well, I think 45 minutes would be if you just went into purgatory, just open boxes all around the map. But people were saying just one full game of MWZ, it was over. Outlast farming, exfil farming, and you're good. MP is actually the longest mode then, if anything. I just would rather like shoot things to get my candy. I don't want to just open boxes for an hour, you know. But that's just
Hey,
a silly preference.
back in Soul Capture, I was doing the Detroit Al Mazrah Warzone strat, spawning in, opening up all the chests down there, and leaving the match, getting like 20 or 30 a game.
Yeah.
And
No,
repeating that until I got 1,000.
Right.
Candle.
Right.
I mean, that was the shit back in the day.
But the whole thing about like waiting a week to get the next category open, I think systems like that should only be in place if the event, let's say you can beat the event in one day, but then they want to expand on the event later and add more to it, then that's fine. But I feel like it shouldn't be a case where it's like, hey, here's the flashy mastery award, you got to wait 4 weeks to get it. I don't think that's right at all. So luckily, luckily we didn't see that really from MW3 for the most part, except DNA stream.
I'm really not a fan of anything being gatekept or artificially prolonged in any video game. Because like if I'm gonna sink my teeth into something and play it for a while, like let's say I only had a week to play the video game, right? And during that week, the event is artificially gatekept and I can't unlock a reward. Like I don't think that's good for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, did Cold War have? I don't think. I mean, Cold War had few and far between events, but I don't think they were ever gate kept that way. Maybe there might have been one, but I don't know for sure.
I don't think so. I just remember there being a funny argument that we brought up on the podcast, right? We kept seeing a lot of comments all over, I guess anywhere really, YouTube, Twitter, about how a lot of the events for Cold War were regarded as too difficult, too tedious, and then the haunting one came out with Scream, and you can get the Lappa. And people said it was too easy. So I'm like, wait,
yeah.
the flip-flopping was really funny to see with the challenge events in Cold War. Right. So I know they were few and far between. I think it was essentially one per season, if that.
Exactly.
If that, right.
I'm just very, very excited to see what Treyarch does because they're coming into basically like they were already going into a new generation of Call of Duty with the Warzone era stuff. And now I think they're even going into an even newer generation of Call of Duty because basically what Sledgehammer did was they were like, okay, weekly challenges, weekly events, you know, just insane amount of 6v6 content, and you know, enough to keep you playing, coming back every single week. I think that's a new precedent that hopefully is sticking to Treyarch, and if not, at least by season 1. Because I think it needs that. I think that's so good, especially if they don't get leaked this year. If a lot of stuff doesn't get leaked this year, because they are saying they are making more.
They're increasing security measures. I think with the integrity of every update and patch. I believe is going to be improved.
Which that was specifically relating to zombies, but I think why wouldn't that just work for Warzone and everything else?
I hope so, man.
Right?
I hope so, dude.
Because I think it's getting unreal at this point. I mean, obviously, like I cover leaks. I'm not saying like leaks bad or whatever, but I think it's to a point where it's so mainstream. It kind of it almost kills the hype and surprise for a lot of people. But then again, I have to post it because it is news. And same thing for you. You have to post it because it is news.
Right. I don't want to ever go into spoiler territory stuff ever. Exactly, and I think everyone in chat knows that. I think if there is a spoiler for anything, it definitely wouldn't be story related. But I don't know if it's let's say an event leaked out and nobody knows what the mastery award is, and then it's something crazy. It's okay, I don't want to spoil that in the thumb, but it'll be somewhere blurred in the video, and I'll be like, hey, you guys, warning, I'm gonna show you, and then go from there. But
I think obviously with the leaks of MW3, it's almost always a good video, a good tweet to be like, here's a new camo coming, and then people love that stuff, right? So it's hopefully they sort of maybe tone that down a little bit, because imagine how much more hype there would be if that was it wasn't just leaked by people that were just unlock tooling it or whatever, and it was actually earned like a random like Thursday or something, and that was like your news for the day, right? I think
I
that would
know,
be awesome.
and I know. I feel like you and I kind of went back and forth on this one statement I'm about to make. I think it was a few months ago on this pod, and I remember I said something like, "I know these games aren't made for content creators, so let me share that first." And you're like, "Wait, but no, they kind of are, because especially MW3, the way that it was like designed,
That's what I was
especially."
going to say now.
Yeah, and the thing is, I only give that disclaimer because I don't want somebody in chat to be like, "You entitled fuck, you expect every update to be just for you." It's like, no, I don't want to come off that way, because it's a privilege and opportunity to be able to do this full time, especially for Call of Duty, which is a pretty saturated space. It's tough to grow. It's tough to stand out. I try to be as unique as I can. But not that, again, games are made for creators, but I think especially when it comes to content, if the leaking community just didn't exist in general, I would be really curious to see what performance would look like on like event videos or the weekly or the aftermarket parts, or I don't know, whatever. I'd be curious to see if those updates will generate even more traffic on the internet. It probably would, because I noticed like MW3, at least for the events or amps that didn't leak out, the performance was psycho on my channel for a little while. Like first couple seasons of this game, like I was seeing some interesting numbers on some of those videos. And then once the data mining started becoming mainstream for all of the MW3 updates, content just would perform a little bit differently, maybe half. Grateful for
like,
grateful for anything, but still, that's
there's always gonna be leaks. So it's like, it's whatever. There always has been leaks. It's just that they're a lot more lenient on it nowadays. Like I remember back in Black Ops 4, if you're posting the some UI
or voice lines,
some UI artwork or voice lines or anything, just like of the images of weapon charms, that would be bang gone immediately.
I love
that happened all the way up until I'd want to say MW2.
What, the strikes?
Like the striking, yeah, like specifically cosmetic stuff. Like I think that happened all the way up in MW2.
If I'm not mistaken, MW19 may have striked cosmetics, but Cold War definitely didn't, right? Or did they, or I don't think they.
Cold War definitely did.
Oh, I'm sorry. Vanguard's when it. Yeah.
Vanguard definitely did as well, but that's when they were starting to get a little more lenient.
That's
on it.
what, right.
MW2 is like open season. Like, nothing did take
hands off the. It was. Yeah, it's just crazy to think about stuff like that. So again, this is more like a behind the scenes kind of discussion. I wouldn't really make a video about, but I almost like the idea of, okay, if something's gonna leak, someone's gonna post a blurry 240p version of the image with a fucking fat watermark on it on Twitter. And then you're going to see it for a minute. It's going to get striked instantly. Like, those are funny days. You know what I mean? Just seeing something like that for like an hour max, and then it's gone forever. You can never show it in a video, but you can make a commentary on it. You can talk about it. We can have a discussion on a podcast about it. But those are funny days where, like, on the internet, something will be leaked for like an hour and boom, strike, gone.
Sniper brings up a good point where he's saying, I saw a noticeable difference on reviews on bigger bundles that were leaked and smaller 800 COD point ones, to the point where smaller ones did better, especially on shorts. And I think also bundles has suffered greatly from this as well.
100%.
Because now you see the bundle artwork. The bundle artwork always look beautiful. The team does an amazing job with making that sort of stuff. But then people see the bundle and they're kind of like, okay, that would be on release day, and maybe it would release for another week or two. By the time that bundle comes out, it's no longer not new to people, so they don't care anymore. They don't want to care anymore. And obviously that's just like, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I'm not saying that's really anybody's fault. People are going to leak stuff and whatever. But obviously back in the day, like videos about bundles, we use Lego the October as an example, as probably one of the most biggest examples of that.
Yeah,
he would do videos on just a singular bundle, crazy views, and he almost he doesn't even do that anymore.
He puts on a second channel. He's like, fuck it.
Exactly.
It's not even and I'm thinking back to like Cold War videos I'd make on certain cosmetics, crazy, right? Or even if I made them after they came out, I'm like, people, holy shit, that was something. It was new, it was fresh. Like you said, nobody had spoiled it on Twitter or anything. And
like I remember even a video you did about a tracer pack where it just had 2 blue tracers on it. You made a full video on it, and that did like extraordinarily well.
Oh, the Cold War, one of the first XM4 blue tracer.
Yeah, the XM4 and the Bullfrog. Even something as simple as that, it would just do so extraordinarily well.
Right.
you know, I'd hope that their new security systems and trying to be like anti-data mine really works. I'd love for that. Um, so we can see a lot more people excited again. About things.
I could be exaggerating this a bit, but I kind of feel like Treyarch's just a little more strict with like
I can see that.
with early leak data mine stuff. I feel like they would probably push for strikes more than anything, or more than any other studio at least. I could be wrong about that fully. Maybe I'm just thinking back to BO4 too much, but even Cold War again, there's a good amount of this. I'm not, again. I know people can probably take it out of context or swing it a certain way. I'm not trying to say I'm pro censorship and yeah, let's strike everybody. But I just think when it comes to seasonal leaks and events and all that, it's so much better for everybody when there's a good surprise on launch of whatever that content is. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing: it's just kind of like what I said. You know, people are going to leak. Like the leak is never going to stop, obviously. And you know, I think it'd be a little bit hypocritical to say that we would want it to stop because we post about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that generates some sort of hype. But you know, I think we're just sort of like playing the devil's advocate in a sense. Where it's like, you know, back in Cold War when like everything was a surprise and everything wasn't, you know, just leaked on the internet for weeks and weeks. Things were a little bit different, but who knows? Like you said, maybe Treyarch puts their foot down finally on it because, you know, I guess we did see takedowns happen with MW3 last year with early stuff, and also it happened with BO6 with that leaked PS4 jailbreak.
Oh yeah, that's severe. Yeah,
but who knows what's gonna happen? You know, if nothing changes, you know, obviously we're gonna still cover it. But you know, I guess that comes down to Activision. Maybe Activision was. Maybe this is more profitable just to let it happen, or maybe they just don't see. Maybe they feel like they're wasting time doing it. I don't know, but we'll see.
With the limitations, I think we've seen over the last couple of years, right? Layoffs and big shifts in the industry. Like they probably don't have a dedicated person to be like, yeah, go scour the internet for for early spicy stuff. They probably will do that, obviously, for like launch window, but after that, it's just kind of like okay, free reign. It is what it is there, but
yeah. Anyway,
yeah, like you said, to round that out, we cover the news. That's kind of our content structure. So anytime there's like something spicy, we'll talk about it. If it gets striked off the internet and we can't show it, okay, we at least have a discussion verbally about it, on something like this with Bombshell. But if anybody has any comments, questions, concerns, feel free to drop them in chat if you want us to address anything, and we'll get to that right after we read some funny comments with who are these people. Who are these people? So I want to address something that Deathmonk just sent me. It's pretty funny. NMEthecover.com is reporting that Black Ops 6 is giving away £100,000 for first-time property buyers. I just figured I'd bring that up real quickly because that's really funny and random. Yeah, that's an actual article that just came out. Apparently, influencers Angry Ginge, Ash Holm, and Danny Aarons will compete in a series of challenges inspired by Black Ops 6 with fans needing to back their favorite to stand a chance of winning £100,000 to go towards buying a property. That's really interesting. I don't know if these creators were at Next or anything, but that's something unexpected. Maybe it is. Is it affiliated with the Activision, though? The Safe House Challenge, named after Black Ops 6's central base of operations, will be presented by Roman Kemp, with each head-to-head contest shared across across Call of Duty social media pages from October 10th. These challenges will unfold in a meticulously recreated safe house, reminiscent of the iconic setting from the game. That's okay. Interesting. Themed around lies and deception. I'm going to send this to you. Wow. Finale will take place October 24th, and the winner announced November 1st. A little live bombshell there for you guys. Did not expect that at all. Thank you, Dunlop, for sending that real quick. I think that's really interesting. I'm going to paste that for Mr. Fajardi in case he needs a tweet at some point. Yeah. But as far as funny comments go, let's take a look at what we got since last week. Today is the 4th of October. Let's see what we got here. Last episode was what day? Let me make sure I don't read the ones from last week. Last episode was the 27th. Got it. Skipping down here. When you talk, it sounds like you're spitting everywhere. That's a pretty funny comment. I promise you I'm not. Luckily, I have a pop filter in case that would happen, but not the case. Stop calling Call of Duty a premium title. It may have been at one point, but they have been failing to earn that badge as of late. For example, first thing we heard about BO6 was carry forward from MW3. Huh? A few weeks later, we find out next to nothing will actually carry forward. A premium title would not be making lies like this, but they did because they knew those 2 words would get people wanting the game. Can we just talk about how false that is? That's a crazy fucking statement.
Yeah, I don't know. Crazy people, bro.
Carry forward. These next few, I'm gonna pull up from our DMs when no captures off. Don't worry. Because I got logged out of Discord on my phone. I couldn't pick this up.
I mean, I think I saw you DM me on Twitter. We haven't talked. We haven't even.
Yeah, no, it's
Years.
all you can see is the comment, just FYI.
Yeah.
Not doxing you. Bro, your head is now the size of the sun. Us YouTube premium users pay not to see ads. You have 3 ads across your entire vid. You need to seriously look at yourself. Face cam dynamite. I don't understand this comment. Because if you pay for premium, you don't see ads, right? If you are, that's not something I can fix. That's a Google question.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening there. Somebody replied, bro, paying for a YouTube channel is wild. Crying about ads is even more wild. Go outside. That's a pretty funny reply. Dude, I don't understand. They try to make MP and zombies as close to Warzone as possible. Now they are making Warzone as close to MP as possible. I'm done with this franchise. Can't wait for the next Battlefield. What does that mean? They're making Warzone more like multiplayer? I've never actually heard that before. Anybody else hear that?
That's a new one.
That's a new one.
That's a new one.
I've never actually heard that. Area 99 is like, I don't know how it's like multi. Is it because of the Omni movement? I don't know if that's what it is. I wonder how much money this YouTuber gets paid to talk so nice about COD, knowing damn well the franchise is in its worst state since Vanguard. I want to get paid as well. Fuck it. I'll say nice things about COD too. This is funny because can you imagine saying that we're in the worst state of COD since or the worst state since Vanguard? How like what?
How is that even possible? I don't even know.
How is that? Yeah, I don't understand that. I can't believe it took them, same guy, by the way, it took them 4 years for this BS. Activision used to be so creative. Now everything is just bland and boring. Bro didn't play the beta because you missed out on a great multiplayer, my friend. When I'm in a content recycling competition and my opponent is dkdynamite, that's hilarious. So again, will there be videos where I address things that I may have talked about for a minute here and there in another video? Sure, because not everybody watches all my videos. There's obviously new viewers that didn't see previous content I might have posted. And the sun is like in my eye, by the way. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But
I know that because when I sit there.
When you sit right here, yeah. The sun, it's RNG with the sun. But again, there's also videos where maybe I bring up something in the later half of the video. There is a significant amount of people that probably didn't stick around that long. So I'll make a separate video talking about that later half stuff. You know what I mean? But without explaining myself, people know. Black Ops 6 Zombies Roadmap DLC 1 update and more teasers. That's a video recapping everything about zombies that has been announced the last couple of weeks. Somebody said this is all lies, total clickbait. Again, talking about COD Next is apparently all lies and clickbait. That's wild. Then I made a video about Black Ops 6 Season 1 in general, everything we know so far about Warzone, quality of life. I got a list of like updates from the pre-brief at COD Next. I talk about, classic Nuketown. Somebody comments, clickbait is always when they have year after year shit and no content. It's not hard to yell best year. Don't hype when this should be the norm like old COD used to have. It's year after year, so don't hype it up when there's always something. This year probably also just cash grab thriving on Black Ops Siri. You are just a shill for Activision. That's grammar, English. And to round out, monster skins are so ass. They just use a ski mask with goggles. So boring. Ghost looks a million times better than those MFers. And clickbait, no Circle K in this video. That's, again, misinterpreting a concept that you did for the monster skins in my Black Ops 6 video recently. We don't know what the skins look like yet. We just put a concept in that thumbnail there. But yeah, any comments you could think of lately on Detonated's Twitter? Anything crazy crossing your mind?
Revived actually brought it up. The Detonated comment section filled with so many absurd comments. I was sitting there shocked. I assume you're relating to the tweet where I tweeted out, "Here's everything Treyarch worked on since 2020." Because there was some crazy. I saw some comments from people being like, "Treyarch's always been lazy," and Sledgehammer's the GOAT. Which I mean, I agree. Sledgehammer is really good, but I don't agree that Treyarch's lazy. And some people were saying like, "Oh, all Treyarch did in the past 4 years was just port Cold War," and I'm like,
"What?"
And I'm like,
"Hello."
If you have like any understanding of what Treyarch's had to do since 2020, going off not only because they're on their own engine, it's like an updated Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4 engine.
I believe yes, yeah, for Cold War, right.
Yeah, you can see it's. I actually commented to the guy. I said, "Seek help." I literally told him, "Seek help."
Oh, I found that comment too,
and I ratioed him too. I got like 100 likes on the. But yeah, that guy was going off on all sorts of things, being like Treyarch ported Cold War, and I'm like, let's break it with that. Let's break this down. They got brought off BO4 to work on a Sledgehammer game, which was Cold War. And then at the end of Cold War, they then had to do a updated IW engine game, which was Vanguard, and then they had to do MWZ, which was another updated IW engine, because that's not the same engine as the Vanguard one, and which eventually laid the groundwork for doing BO6. If I were to assume, MWZ helped tremendously with the development of BO6 in terms of understanding the engine. That's what I would assume. So yeah, to say that Black Ops 6 is a Cold War port is probably the most wildest thing I've ever heard in my entire existence. Is insane. That's a crazy ass comment. But there's gold all in that that whole thread is gold on gold of crazy comments.
Yeah, I think if anybody wants like daily "Who Are These People" content, definitely look at the detonated Twitter replies, dude. It's so crazy.
I got a tweet coming out soon where it's going to be all of the maps, weapons, operators, crossovers, and total bundles across 12 seasons of Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
It's going to be a similar tweet like that. I'm just going to throw it out there like a chart. That's going to be interesting to see because I really want that bundle amount, because it's going to be like, I'd say like 200 bundles maybe across those two games, maybe more. I'm just guessing. So it's going to be funny seeing people talk about that. I'm excited for that tweet because it's also a good, like, okay, now we're ending 2 years of Modern Warfare sort of tweet.
Right. Somebody called you a fanboy. How are you a fanboy for pointing out facts and stats about what Treyarch worked on?
Yeah, I think it's crazy to me how that tweet, there is no opinion in the tweet. It is simply saying, here's everything that Treyarch worked on since 2020, leading up to Black Ops 6. There is no opinion. It's a chart, a timeline of pure facts based on publicized information that Treyarch that has their name credited to Treyarch. That's it.
Yeah.
I was getting hate for it.
Right.
Obviously, it was for your video, and your video was more of like opinionated sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I think that tweet is hilarious.
I love my community quote series because I love sometimes dissecting. Obviously, we do it on the podcast all the time, but I love dissecting some of the crazy community claims in that series where I just go off and I'll just yap about what that quote says, if I agree with it, what it probably means. Here's the truth. That's the point of that series. And I know there's going to be plenty of quotes to probably break down once the game actually drops. But yeah, the one about BO6 at 4 years of development, like that's one that just I see it everywhere. I get people that are ignorant to some of the facts. I get it. Not everybody knows Treyarch did ranked and MWZ and all this other stuff. I get it. But it's just funny when people do know that and they still will claim, oh, BO6, dude, it has one little bug. Oh my God, what were they doing for 4 years? What was going on? It's like, I'll tell you what they were doing for 4 years. It's pretty public as to what they were doing for 4 years. Let alone things that maybe they work on privately and internally. And, I know somebody commented on your tweet saying, they wasted their time. And I'm like, people forget Activision obviously assigns these projects, right? Obviously, I'm sure there's input from like studio heads, but they don't exactly have the decision-making opportunity to be like, we're just not going to do that for.
And someone said, what does IWs look like? And off the dome, I did it basically. It was 2019. It was Modern Warfare. 2020, you had MW19 seasons 1 to 6 and Warzone. And then in 2021, out of all my research, I think all they did was add 3 weapons to MW3, or sorry, MW 2019. 2022, you obviously had 2022, you had MW2, DMZ, and Warzone 2. 2023, you had seasons 1 to 6 inside of MW2. So it's pretty much, it's all like Modern Warfare. They didn't really deviate from, because obviously Modern Warfare 2019 was always their game. MW2 was always their game. They always had their time to sort of do that. But with Treyarch's been having a rough go since. You can date this all the way back to pre BO4.
Oh yeah, because they had a 3-year cycle for that game, and had a campaign scrapped. Exactly. A lot of blue screens at launch for Blackout and Zombies.
And a lot of multiplayer overhauls to make it less like Overwatch,
right?
Yeah, so the Treyarch's been in the ringer for a long time.
And still though we've gotten some fantastic projects and amazing output from
Yep.
all our studios, really, Chad. So again, whenever something is broken, something isn't working correctly, or something is controversial, we'll of course have a deep dive here on the podcast. But most of my videos are informative. Some of them are opinionated, but it's time and place to talk about certain topics and whatnot. And yeah, with that, let me know in chat if I missed any questions that people want me to address. I know Deathlin's asking about that one marketing from Spain. I did see, I sent it to Fajardi earlier. Did you see that tweet?
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on there.
I can't read. I don't speak Spanish, so I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
from what I got from it, it was just like a nice little promo piece. It's cool to see different Call of Duty social accounts promoting Black Ops 6 a bit differently. There was a new Replacer trailer. There's one with the Weeknd. The Starboy was hilarious. There was one today, which I think is that a collab with Joker officially with WB, or is it maybe it's the reference about clowns? I think it's the reference about clowns.
It's just a reference.
I've heard really bad things about Joker 2. I'm probably gonna see it on Monday. I haven't heard good things about it. Treyarch devs forgot to board up windows unless that's getting to around 100 will be hard. Oh, like you're asking if there's buildable barriers in BO6? I don't think there are. At least not from what I saw at COD Next. Buildable barriers. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
Is there another? Oh no, it's only the Joker.
Yeah. Also, let me know, chat. Was anybody in chat today spammed with ads during the stream? Because I think YouTube's changing something. I'm not sure what's going on, but I've gotten a few comments about that the last couple of I've changed nothing about my streams, and people are saying they're seeing more ads than usual. I don't know if it's the more people that are in chat, will it place ads differently? But I have it kind of like on a standard setting where it's like it'll just play randomly for everybody. And I've never seen any issues with it in chat, and people are saying recently that they were getting more than they would like. Ricochet. Yeah, Ricochet. I know I've seen a few reports that apparently there's like more cheaters than usual or something in Warzone. I haven't seen any. I just haven't played enough Warzone. But maybe I think another ban wave is probably needed, and I think Black Ops 6 will launch with Ricochet support, so hopefully we shouldn't see any cheaters. If anybody was cheated in the beta, I'm sure they'll be banned for launch of BO6, or probably already are, if I had to guess. Yeah, no early access at all for campaign or zombies, which, if I'm not mistaken, that would have been, next Wednesday? Oh, no, the following Wednesday, the 16th maybe would have been early,
Yeah.
or that Friday, probably the 18th, probably would have been campaign or zombies if that existed. Let's see what else.
Oh man, I gotta eat, man. Shit.
Yeah, same here. Memberships most definitely give less ads. I get one like every 40 minutes. That's interesting too. I don't know if that's a benefit or not. I would like to know that so I can add it to my membership tier list, right? Or the benefits.
I think if you're a member, by default, it should eliminate ads for that channel. Like how Twitch has it. If you're subscribed on Twitch, you don't get ads on that channel, like only solely,
right.
individually, singularly. So that I think that'd be a cool feature, but I don't know if that's verifiable.
I don't know either. Yeah. That's one's asking about October 10th. I think it's going to be a day where they just market something. I don't know about any trailers or anything, but there should be definitely some blog posts coming up. And I think that is just about it. Favorite Call of Duty. Ooh, man, how do I even decide that? I mean, you have the jetpack era, you have OG era, you have modern Warzone era. Like, man, it's a tough call, dude. But I'd say Black Ops 4 is definitely up there with Cold War. I mean, BO3 is an absolute gem. I mean, it's so hard to pick. I have some of my best memories on a multiplayer with BO3. It's tough to decide, man. But I will say, oh, go ahead.
For me, I think for like, I just split this up into when I was actually like a player and then more of like a content creator. I think that's a very different sort of thing to differentiate. I think player era, it was definitely Advanced Warfare or BO4, and definitely content creation was more Cold War, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think something I always look back at, obviously because we're nearing the end of MW3 cycle now, right? We've gotten just about every update that they've promised for the game. I always, at the end of every year, I'll look back and be like, let's take a look at some videos I'm really proud of, some podcasts that were crazy with funny guests. Always like to look at my favorite parts of each year, because it's hard to just be like, yeah, one game, one season. Like there's got to be some favorite moments and some crazy highlights of every Call of Duty. Even a game like Vanguard, man. I think I might have been one of the first teams to beat the Archon Easter egg. Like, it was a crazy boss fight. Yeah. But no matter what, like, there's always got to be like a highlight of every Call of Duty entry. But someone said he noticed the Jigsaw shirt. Yeah, I think Saw 11 just got announced finally. I don't know what's going on with that movie got delayed, unfortunately. But yeah, in spirit of Halloween and the Haunting, right? I reckon a Jigsaw shirt today. But with that being said, folks, thank you all for tuning in. It was a fantastic episode with Codenamepizza. It was amazing to have him on as a guest. I think unless we have a guest that we can pre-record with, there won't be an episode next Friday. I'll be in the hospital. But the week after, which is the 18th, we should be able to get another episode going, talking about all the road to launch updates that Call of Duty is going to be dropping about Black Ops 6. Got a video coming out for you guys in about 2 hours-ish, and then plenty of other stuff coming up over the course of this weekend, and of course, even more later this week. As a reminder, Bombshell is powered by Detonated. Lots of articles coming up from the team. 2 really big features are coming to the site very, very soon. You do not want to miss out on. One of them should be unveiled on October 14th, which is my birthday. And yeah, stay tuned on Twitter as well. I know I'll have some fun tweets coming out next few days, and then Fajardi's got some juice on a Detonated Twitter as well. Some cool stuff as we prepare for October 25th.
And also an actual last minute bombshell here that someone actually just brought up in chat. There is new Mr. Peaks and Jug posters on the COD shop, which is cool.
Interesting. Let me pull it
up. It's a glow in the dark poster, which is awesome.
It's a glow in the dark. When was this announced?
It says new. Someone.
Oh yeah,
today, so.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, power up your space. Keep an eye on the battlefield with the latest Mr. Peaks glow in the dark poster. That's fucking sick, dude. How much?
I'm gonna make a tweet about it. $25 a pop.
That Jug one is funny. I love that they classified or they clarified in-game content for the Wonderwolf statue too, because they get that camo for Black Ops 6. That Wonderwolf looks amazing, man. But $350. I got diapers to buy, bro. I can't be buying a Wonderwolf statue. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Hey, but they sell the pin now, the Cerberus pin that I got from Next.
What?
They do sell it for $8. I thought it said $0. It's $8. I couldn't see the 8. I thought it said 0. I'm like, what? No, $8. Cerberus pin. That's clean, dude.
Black Ops 6 hat pin, bro.
Almost gone. MW3 mouse pad. Holy shit.
I might put that on my pea coat for the winter season. I have on it.
Cerberus, baby.
Ooh.
There we go.
Yeah. Anyway.
Right on.
Yeah, let's stop yapping.
Yeah, we'll stop yapping there. I did see the YouTube's mojo, but once again, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate all the love on all the recent content. We got so much more on deck for you guys over the course of October. It's about to be the craziest month ever, let alone what's in store for the rest of 2024. But with that, we will see you guys. I did not mean to play Who Are These People again, but we will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.
Bye.